Hello, everybody. Welcome to another great race from round 2 of our FireRed LeafGreen any percent tournament. My name is Iron, and with me on commentary today, I've got Muckwing. Hello, Muckwing. How are you?
Hello, Iron. Yeah, I'm doing well. Today, we have a very exciting race. Once again, we have an alt starter in the mix. Amoeba will be running Charmander. He is our pot 2 runner. Our pot 1 runner is Kurddt, and our pot 3 runner is Asmo.
And fun fact, Amoeba had a slightly better time than Kurt in round 1, but because Kurt was the winner in his race, he is the pot 1 runner. So, fun fact there. I think we're almost ready to go.
Yes, all Charmander doubters need to watch it with Amoeba around.
And they're off. So we can take a look at the starters they have up on screen here. We've got, I don't know what Asmo has because it shows all zeros right now. I don't think he'd run that. Hopefully we'll see what his stats are in a second here, but Amoeba's running a pretty decent Charmander. For Charmander, Rash is slightly better because there's certain fights that are particularly bad with Mild. The same thing goes with Squirtle, I guess, as well. But he's got perfect attack, special attack, and HP, and pretty solid speed. His defenses are a tiny bit lower, but that's not too big of a deal. How about Kurt's Squirtle here?
Yeah, Kurt has a very good Squirtle here. He has near max speed, 30, which allows you to do a lot of things. You outspeed a lot of just like these random fights where you could be slower. But it also gives you the opportunity to outspeed Sabrina later if you pick up a Carbos. That and 25 defense make this a really tanky Rash Squirtle.
That's good. Yeah, we do see Asmo's Squirtle stats up here now. He's got the Modest, which is minus attack, but his attack stat is pretty good. It's still not great, as good as, I guess, Kurt's 13 neutral attack, but again, really solid HP on Asmo's Squirtle. Perfect special attack. The speed is a little bit lower. He's going to have to X-speed in Sabrina for sure, and assuming he goes the knob route, I think that's all you need to do. So stats with modest, defenses are actually with modest, or you can take slightly lower IVs on both because they're neutral. Obviously you want as high defenses as possible, but
yeah, so it looks like Asmo went for Manip while the other two runners have reset for their backup Squirtles. We're gonna see if Asmo has it, and he does not.
Yeah, so Asmo was the only runner from round 1 to hit Manip, so he's hoping to go for 2 for 2 in the tournament, which would have been pretty poggers, but unlucky this time.
Yeah,
so he'll rely on his backup.
Normally, the way you would run this game if you're speedrunning it, you would have a second timer going down from the instant you accept your name in the intro screen, and then from that point, you find the Squirtle with the stats you need, and you have to accept it frame perfectly once you're in Oak's lab, which can be pretty difficult. You only have one shot at it. So that's why we always allow backups for these races.
Yeah, it's just really difficult for multiple people, let alone one person even, to hit the Manip in the race. Looks like Amoeba's through, and Kurt is... Ooh.
Oh.
That's not good for Kurt.
Yeah.
I didn't see what happened there, but he very likely got a critical hit, and he did miss one tackle at the end there, so that's really unfortunate. Tackle is 95% accurate in Generation 3, and I believe it didn't become 100% until Gen 4 or Gen 5. I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, I think it's Gen 5.
Yeah, it's really, really unfortunate to have a death there to that fight. Luckily, Amoeba doesn't have to worry about missing because Scratch is 100% accurate. It's kind of a benefit, slight benefit of running Charmander, I guess, in the first fight. Although Charmander is a little more frail defensively, so it takes a little more damage than Squirtle does.
Yeah, very unfortunate for Kurddt. Losing to Rival 1 basically loses about a minute, and it's the very first fight of the game. We can't lose it because of the experience it gives. It gets you almost all the way to halfway through level 6, as well as some useful money that we can't do the route without either.
Yeah, also you lose a bit of money by losing the fight, so it's you could continue with a loss, but you have to KO 3 extra wilds on average, level 3 wilds, and that's just really slow. So the fastest thing to do is just reset the fight for a race. We saw we're gonna see all our runners KOing 1 wild. Amoeba will probably go for 2 because he wants to get Ember before Viridian Forest, because he's gonna have to fight a few trainers in there, and we'll meet with a 1% encounter there, I think.
Actually, so Amoeba decided to take an alternate path because he hadn't fought 2.
Oh, okay, so that's not a 1%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was walking through some grass. Okay, nice crit. Yeah, being a Charmander is just wonderful. It's really nice knowing that your base move won't miss.
I think Amoeba got a level 5 Pidgey on the way up, so that's a bit of a problem. You can't really knock that out efficiently. And that's a 1% encounter, is it not? Or is it 5 for level 5 Pidgey? It's a pretty low chance to get that.
I believe it's a 1% for a true level 5. Kurddt here is going... Kurddt and Asmo are both going for second kills. They're getting level 7. And what that allows them to do is it gets bubble early, so it helps you a little bit with the catching section, does a little bit more than tackle. But then it also helps for the fight that you do in the forest, the Sammy fight. You don't have to waste a turn tail whipping because bubble already does the damage you would do after a tail whip with tackle.
Yep. One thing I actually found out on one of my runs is that if you do decide to knock out a level 5, don't ask me why I attempted this, you get enough experience for bubble just from that encounter alone. But obviously that's a very slow knockout.
Yeah, normally if it's like a level 5 Pidgey, you would normally just run from it because at level 5, that Pidgey can learn Sand Attack, and Sand Attack...
That is true, yes.
Just the worst. Sand Attack and its variations of evasion, raising or accuracy lowering are just the bane of this run.
I actually recall now I didn't have any encounters knocked out until after Sammy, so I ended up going into the route after Viridian Forest and found a level 5 Pidgey there, that's why. But anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so all our runners are all at level 7, and now they're going to go up through Route 1. They're going to try to catch something if they can. It's not required to catch wild here, or you can get backups later. And Amoeba's found a Pidgey, which is a great... actually, it's a slightly worse catch than a rat for the Charmander route, because you can... Charmander will pick up the other HM move that the encounter won't get. So in this case, he'll teach Cut to his Charmeleon later. It's slightly better to get Fly on your Charizard because you can keep Metal Claw a bit longer for flexibility.
Yeah, exactly. So with the Char route, you only need to catch 1 extra poke because your starter learns the other. We'll see both of the Squirtle runners catching a Cutter and a Flyer, though.
And the Charmander will pick up a free Surf Pokemon later.
Oh, yeah.
Because, yeah, that's... we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Also, I forgot to mention it, but on Amoeba's screen earlier when he caught his Pidgey, you saw him use Ember. Ember's a much better move this early than Bubble is because Ember has 40 power, whereas Bubble has 20. So he was instantly able to knock the Pidgey to red health, and if you knock a Pidgey to red health this early, it becomes a 99.6% catch rate, which is very helpful because having breakouts on Route 1 is just an easy way to lose time.
Yep, absolutely. He's a bit lucky he didn't burn it. I'm not sure if a burn would have knocked it out from there, but it would have been close. See Asmo into the old man cutscene. Looking for sort of a preview of the future of Let's Go here. So, throwing balls at Pokemon without weakening them.
Kurt looks like he's encountered both Flyer and Cutter, so he's going to be trying to catch his last poke here. Asmo, I think, has only caught one up to this point, if I'm not mistaken.
Possibly, yeah. Although Kurt, yeah. Kurt did lose a bit of time because he lost the rival fight, so it's possible Asmo got both. I didn't see, though.
I'll have to go back and double check.
Meanwhile, Amoeba is, you see Asmo skipping this trainer while Amoeba is fighting him, so both this Charmander and the Squirtle will need to get some extra experience early game to make some of the later fights a bit safer. This Charmander, it's much better to get extra experience here because in the forest, because you have Ember, and things go down pretty easily. So, but you'll see our Squirtle runners will pull ahead just from that fact alone. I'm not sure what Asmo's doing here.
Yeah, Asmo's... This looks like not the normal path you would take in Viridian Forest. Normally what you would do is you would take 3 steps into the grass that Asmo's in to avoid one optional trainer, then walk towards him, past up. Basically all the trainers that Amoeba has fought, you would just dodge as a Squirtle. You can also walk up there, and I mean, if you're lucky, get an encounter and save a bunch of steps. But the way the encounters work in LeafGreen, when you enter a forest, you have 7 tiles of 1% immunity, so your first 7 tiles, you're not very likely at all to see an encounter, but with each step after that, your likelihood of getting an encounter increases.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so kind of just run from these encounters. On average, we get about 3 encounters in the forest in the tournament so far. We have seen 0, and I think the most we've seen is 6, so wide range of possibilities here. It's kind of just luck-based.
Yeah, everything up, or basically this whole Brock split, you just have to deal with the encounters you get. There's no way to buy or find any repels until after you beat Brock, where they're available in his in that city's mart.
Mm-hmm. We see Asmo saving here for the first boss fight of the run, which is Sammy. This is a pretty difficult fight. Conceptually, it's very easy. You just Tail Whip or Bubble or Tackle. Tail Whip, Tackle, or Bubble if you have level 7, which both Kurt and Asmo do. But this Weedle is higher level than you. It outspeeds you. It has Poison Sting, which can poison, which is actually useful because our Squirtle runners will want to get to low HP for Brock's Gym to make use of Squirtle's great ability Torrent. But yeah, just this Weedle can crit you and you can miss tackles. Luckily these guys won't have to worry about that, but things can go wrong here, so it's worthwhile to save. It's a little less necessary to save if you have Bubble. It's a little safer of a fight, but definitely still a good play.
Yeah, and Amoeba did a slightly different forest. Since he's a Charmander and he's about to enter a gym with a lot of Rock-type Pokemon, he fought 3 optionals in this forest. It's going to get him a lot of levels early. It'll allow him to skip the first trainer in Brock's gym, Liam, which is a trainer that both Squirtle runners have to face, which can be very annoying. But with this extra experience and very easily gotten with Ember, Amoeba's gonna hit level 13 before he reaches Onyx, where he'll learn Metal Claw, which will be the move he'll use to take it down.
Kurt getting one final encounter before exiting the forest.
Oh
So,
yeah, and another
well,
thing.
yeah,
I
go
was
ahead.
gonna say, yeah, Charmander has to shop early.
Yes.
Due to many reasons. With the speed that Amoeba has, he's going to be faster than the Onyx when it comes out, so that Onyx is going to immediately go for Rock Tomb, which can sometimes put you in a bad situation where you're in a heal loop. So it's very much required that you shop first and get the potions you need.
Yep. So you see both Kurt and Amoeba saving. technically one fight ahead, although Amoeba did get his extra experience early. The first fight for the Squirtle runners will be against Liam. If you're in Torrent, you can one-shot the Geodude, and then the Sandshrew is a 2-shot range. It has Sand Attack, which can be very irritating. Hopefully we don't see that from either of these two guys, whereas Amoeba is going to have to go fight Brock now with just Ember to start. His special attack is very good, so he's got a decent shot at 4-hitting the Geodude.
Ooh, looks like
with lower special attack, you need to take an extra hit.
So the Sandshrew that on the Liam fight has 3 moves. It can Scratch, it can Defense Curl, or it can Sand Attack. You really don't want to see Scratch because it ruins your Torrent setup. Looks like Kurddt got it as well. Very unfortunate. Looks like they're both going to have to heal at some point on the Brock fight. Otherwise, they're in range to die to Rock Tomb.
Yeah, just heal turn 1 on Onyx generally.
Alright, Amoeba got a very good burn, because burn cuts Geodude's attack in half. He's taking less damage there from the tackle when he heals. So a little less
he's got great
likely
HP now, yeah.
the heal loop.
Yeah, so he'll use Rock Tomb if he's faster than you, and if he can knock you out with it. So at 19 HP there before the heal, he was Onyx was not gonna knock him out with Rock Tomb, so he just healed there to be safe.
So Asmo YOLO'd Brock with 5 HP and has now reset.
He went for Rock Tomb, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah,
Onyx.
he went for Rock Tomb. Yeah, normally you just heal in that situation because you're more than likely to see Rock Tomb. And it's an 80% chance to hit, although I will let you know, it'll hit probably more than that.
Ooh, Asmo.
Ooh. Oh.
Asmo went for Tail Whip on the Geodude. I think he misclicked.
I see. Alright, so Amoeba and Kurddt both getting through Brock. Squirtle, when you beat Onyx, has a little bit of extra mashing than Char because you're teaching Water Gun in that instant.
Yeah, and we saw both Kurddt and Asmo swap Tail Whip to slot 1 because you can just smash A to put Water Gun in slot 1 right away, which is very useful. Alright, let's see what Asmo does here on Onyx. Goes for the heal this time, very good. And of course he misses there.
Wow.
That's really irritating when you heal out to avoid the Rock Tomb and then he misses. This Onyx has a tendency to miss at very, very annoying, inopportune times.
So Asmo's just going for the kill here. What you would normally want to do is you would want to fight this Onyx until he can put you in an HP that's close to Torrent or in Torrent. Because the following route after Brock, if you're a Squirtle, you one-shot everything with Torrent Water Gun. And if you don't, there are several pokes, I think maybe upwards of 8 or 9, that do not die in one-shot to Water Gun. So he's going to be trying to stall on the first bug poke.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Amoeba's just gonna...
the Charmander runner can just Ember.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's also going to be fighting a different trainer we see right after this bug catcher.
Why is Amoeba walking? You not get the running shoes?
He's playing a little casually.
This is a pretty good start for Amoeba to have Charmander ahead of Squirtle. Mind you, Kurddt and Asmo both had some deaths early on, so still a very good start for Amoeba. So you see Amoeba fighting the last trainer. He's going to have to back out of the route to reset her position until he can pass her. You can fight the bug catcher, but he's doing a route where he's going to, I believe, get Flamethrower earlier, as well as do early Misty and Surge, I believe, as well. So makes this fight's a tiny bit faster, and he optimally wants to get Blaze off of this fight. You can't really get Blaze by fighting the bug catchers, because you knock them out pretty easily. Unfortunately, we didn't see him get Poison Point there from the Nidoran, which is very useful for getting Blaze, which is Charmander's equivalent of Torrent for the squirrels.
So yeah, that little movement that Amoeba does, it resets the map, so it pushes the last all the way back and you can pass her. And the reason why it's faster to do that in the Charmander route is because if you enter that fight in Blaze, you have a chance to just OHKO both Pokemon, and it's really quick, much faster than the bug catcher fight.
That's a good point, yeah. The Nidoran is a range in Blaze, but it's not super threatening unless you go in with super low HP. So it's generally pretty clean to get through that fight in Blaze. We see Asmo got poisoned by Colton, which is actually quite good because if he doesn't have Torrent right now, and he can get Torrent right away after this fight. He probably should stall for oh, he didn't even have Torrent there. That's an unfortunate tackle miss as well, but he takes a little more poison damage, which is good, so he'll have some good Torrent to work with here for the rest of the route.
Yeah, very ideal for Asmo. Alright, and Amoeba actually grabbing Personberry. Not an item you usually see Charmanders get, but it could be helpful for, I guess, one of two fights. One, the Rocket Trainer that Amoeba is going to be fighting. He's not in Blaze currently, so he's not going to be one-shotting the Zubat at the end of the fight, and he could see Supersonic there. Or he could be saving it for Misty.
Yeah, definitely good to have that for those two fights. We saw Amoeba, he had 4 repels. He's almost likely going to pick up the Revive here in Mount Moon. It's a nice safety item. Looks like Kurddt also has 4 repels, which is good to have the repel. Or sorry, the Revive. Very useful in the early game. So Charmander is just going to blaze through here, no pun intended, and pick up, or not fight any extra trainers, because he's already got all his experience he needs, whereas Kurddt and Asmo will both knock out 1 trainer in Mount Moon for a little bit of extra experience. Looks like Kurddt will probably go for... Will he go for Josh? Nope. He's going to go for the Spinner, which is the scariest of the 4 fights you can do.
Right.
See Kurddt saving here.
Yeah. The reason why this Rocket Spinner fight is dangerous is because he leads a level 13 Rat, which at this point will outspeed the Squirtle no matter what your speed is. And it knows the move Hyper Fang at this point. At Kurt's defense, it's going to be doing anywhere from 11 to 13. But it's only a 1 in 4 chance to select Hyper Fang, and we see it. Oh! I couldn't tell if he lived at 1 or not off that.
It really looked like he might have, actually. But we'll never know.
Yeah, it's...
It looked like he did, though.
Another thing that sucks about fighting this is that even in Torrent, this Rat is a 10 and 16 range to die. And Kurddt gets it. Very nice. You're not very likely to die on this fight.
That's good. Now he's got great HP for...
Yeah, exactly. And that's the main reason why you want to fight Rocket Spinners, because most of the time, any attack that isn't Hyper Fang will put you into a great HP for the rest of Moon. Alright, and Asmo's fighting Josh. Josh has 2 Rattatas and 1 Zubat. Neither of them know Hyper Fang, so he most likely wants to see at least 1 quick attack here and gets it first time. Perfect. There's also a range on this fight. The Zubat at the very end is same thing as the Rat, a 10 and 16 range in Torrent.
Yeah, it's not quite as scary though. Worst that could happen is you get like an Astonish crit, but he's going to have a high enough HP that should be fine. That's of course Yeah, actually, the rat didn't do any more damage to him, so he's okay. Well, Amoeba just finished up Super Nerd Miguel. This fight is much, much better to do in Blaze because... Oh, he picks up Dome Fossil.
Dome fossiling again. A little bit of time lost to have the scientist move an extra step to get the Helix. But
2407 Moon Exit, not bad. That fight's much better in Blaze because the Volt Orb, you outspeed everything for one thing, and the Volt Orb and the Coughing both go down in one hit to Blaze Ember, whereas the Grimer goes down to 2 Blaze Embers. Or is it 2 non-Blaze as well? I'm not sure. But,
I think it's 2 non-Blaze, and if you're in Blaze, you can Metal Claw first turn to avoid the disable.
That sounds right, yes. So that fight was a little slow for Amoeba, but he got through it pretty good. Kurtz, meanwhile, starting up the fight, and he's got Torrent, I believe. Yes, he does.
Yes.
Which means the Grammar is a 2-hit, and the other 2 are ranges in Torrent, because War Turtle has slightly worse special attack than Charmeleon does.
Yes, and
but has better defenses.
You just saw Amoeba teach both Mega Punch and Mega Kick to Charmander. If you're doing early Misty, it's an absolute must to also get Mega Punch in your arsenal. For the Squirtle runners, when they exit the cave, they'll just be teaching Mega Kick to defeat some evil plants along the way. But Charmander can just burn them. Instead, Charmander will be kicking turtles in return.
Yeah, you can opt to skip Mega Punch, depending on the route. This route that he's doing, Mega Punch is required. He's going to have to suffer with that for a little bit, but if all goes well, it's a pretty fast route. But nothing's guaranteed with those moves.
Yes. Mega Punch and Mega Kick are extremely helpful moves this early on because you don't get access to a lot of moves that deal as much damage as either of these moves. Mega Punch deals 80 damage or has 80 power, and then Mega Kick has 120. But the game returns the favor by dropping their accuracy. Mega Kick is only 75% accurate, and Mega Punch is 85% accurate.
So we see Asmo's looking like he's going to get through a little slowly through Miguel. He's not in Torrent, whereas Amoeba, he heals. Generally you heal with Charmeleon before the Rival 2 fight because this fight's Charmeleon just doesn't have very good defense, and the Pidgeotto hits pretty hard, so you generally want to be at high HP. The problem with being at high HP is that the Pidgeotto's AI is more likely to use Sand Attack, and we did see that Amoeba did get that Sand Attack there, so he did go after, when he was 1 hit away from knocking it out, he swapped out to remove the accuracy drop.
Also hits his first Mega Kick, which is very nice against Squirtle. Oh, misses the second into Water Gun. This is not looking good for Amoeba in this scenario. This might be a reset.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to kick the Squirtle twice, and it loves to use Withdraw. We'll see that from the later rival fights as well. And so Mega Kick can 2-hit, provided he does not use Withdraw, which is kind of uncommon.
So it looks like Asmo is going to be catching a Paris as his cutter.
Okay.
It's very nice. Paris are abundant in any of the little ladder rooms that you take in Mount Moon. So it's a guaranteed cutter as soon as you encounter it. The only problems is that it knows moves like Stun Spore and I think Poison Powder.
He actually got that in a room where he was not guaranteed to get it, so that's good. That's a nice pickup.
Yeah.
It was right after he picked up the fossil. Meanwhile, Kurt is on the Misty fight, so Amoeba will be doing Misty a little bit later because Charmeleon cannot take care of Misty at the current level he's at. The Misty fight generally for races, and I think even on PB attempts you would put on the Persianberry for this fight because the Starmie might be more likely to use a Water Pulse. But the Staryu is a pretty favorable range with 2 bites, and the Starmie's not very favorable range with 2 bites. So you'll see there Kurt tackled it turn 2 to guarantee the bite.
That That and he had a last turn Personberry activation. He got Water Pulse last turn and got the 20% chance to confuse. But that's why the Squirtle runners pick up Personberry, because you're bound to see Water Pulses on this fight, and if you get confused, it turns the fight very slow and very dangerous. Also, another great thing for the Squirtle route. Another reason we fight Misty early is because when you beat her, she gives you the TM Water Pulse. A very powerful, at this point, stab move for Squirtle, since it does 60 powers. So in reality, it's hitting for 90, and everything on Nugget Bridge is very weak compared to your Squirtle at this time. So just one-shots everything, with Torrent or without.
Yeah, it's just as Amoeba's finishing up Rival 2, Kurddt is going into Rival 2. So Amoeba's come out of this fight with Blaze, which is really, really good for Charmander, because you can just rip through every trainer on Nugget Bridge with Blaze Ember. It's much, much slower if you don't have it.
Okay. Kurddt went for... I think he was at 18 and went for the Water Pulse one-shot and didn't get it. I think he's going to be swapping here. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's 25%, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, and he'll definitely be sending out the other one to be able to heal off War Turtle. Because at his HP, he's definitely dead to Vine Whip here. Vine Whip should be doing, I think, 16 to 20.
Yeah, it's going to do a lot. He's rash with low special defense ID, so... Generally with this fight, you go in out of Misty. You might heal up a little bit before the fight to avoid getting knocked out early, but also not high enough that the Pidgeotto goes for Sand Attack. Ooh, that's a Leech Seed from Kurddt. That's not very good.
Yeah, Leech Seed is not the move you want to see. It is so much time loss. Also, Asmo doing his whole fight pretty much confused, but hits Starmie 3 for 3. And snaps on the last turn. Very nice for Asmo.
Kurddt looks like he should be okay. He could switch out from the Leech Seed because he had already switched and knocked out both his pokes. As long as he doesn't get crit by the Rattata here, he should be fine. Good. Okay.
Okay, perfect.
A little bit slow for Kurddt, but gets through.
Yeah, well, the reason why Leech Seed is so slow, in addition to just all the extra text you get each turn from losing your health, it also messes with the Bulbasaur or Ivysaur ranges, because after that first turn where they get a little bit of health back, depending on your attack, it becomes a range to kill from that point with Mega Kick.
Yeah, that's true. He did get it, so that was really good.
Alright, Asmo taking the long way out of Misty's gym. Very scenic. Doesn't want to be seen.
Haha.
Right, and Asmo's
Not too much happening on Amoeba's and Kurtt's side, yeah. Amoeba and Kurddt will be just ripping through these fights coming up. We'll talk a little bit about Asmo's Rival 2 fight here, since that's the most exciting thing currently on screen. His HP is a little high. Hopefully we don't get Sand Attack here. Okay, good. That crit is actually fine, because...
Oh, crit got.
So that Water Pulse Bite plus Bite is actually a range. It's about 95% to hit that with Water Pulse plus Bite, and I've missed that range a couple times in the last 2 races that I've done of this. It's extremely unlikely.
Right,
his HP is a little bit low now, though.
It looks like he got Vine Whip turn 1, which is pretty rare. If your HP isn't within Vine Whip range, Bulbasaur is heavily favored to Sleep Powder or Leech Seed. But getting Vine Whip really speeds up the fight, since no need to go into your bag and use an Awakening.
Yeah, Asmo also in range to a Quick Attack critical from the Rat, but gets through. So all our runners, well, Kurddt actually healed at some point here.
Yeah, so I think what Kurddt did was he left the rival fight at too low of an HP where an absorb from Oddish would kill him. And on the Squirtle route, the only move you have to one-shot the Oddish is Mega Kick. So he was 50-50 to die if he missed a Mega Kick on the Oddish, so he probably healed to be safe.
That's a good play for the races. And Torrent isn't required for Squirtle runners for this section of the run. It is required to have Blaze for the Charmander, however.
Yes. And we're seeing Amoeba go straight into the Hiker fight. No save, I think, which is a little bit risky because he did sack his flyer on Rival 2. Okay, gets a really good Ember and gets Screech. Very, very great. This fight's very scary for Charmander runners because that Onix knows Rock Throw, and from a lot of different HPs where you're in Blaze, which you need to two-shot it. And if you're not 31 special, it is a ranged two-shot. But you're usually put in a situation where you wanted Blaze for the fight so you could two-shot, but then you might be dead to a Rock Throw. Also Amoeba executing the Shiru pass very, very well there. A guaranteed pass with a run manip for the spinner.
Yeah, we could see a variety of different passes here. We could see TM case passes, bag passes, or just YOLOing it. We've seen a few of those this tournament. The Shiru pass is definitely the most elegant way of going about that.
Yeah, for sure the most fancy. It looks the best. The spinner that Amoeba had passed, his name is Dan, and he has a Slowpoke. Not a big problem for Squirtle runners, but if you're a Charmander runner, that could be run over for you if you hit him. He is normally, depending on where you fought the trainer before him, he's 1 in 16 to turn in time to see you, so sometimes you'll see people YOLO that.
You also see Amoeba fighting Hiker Knob, so this is generally a trainer you fight on the Squirtle route as a, well, you sometimes fight on the Squirtle route, some routes don't fight this. Amoeba's going to be doing a route which gets him to level 26 right after he'll candy to 26 right after the Dig Rocket, and then he'll be able to fight Misty. In order to do that, you need to fight Hiker Knob instead of Camperflint. This fight's not too bad. Everything you can knock out in Blaze, the first Geodude is a range, however, and I think that has Rock Throw as well. Which can be very bad, because Geodude has better attack than Onix, so it actually does more than Wayne's Onix does. So
Kurt
TM
going
case
for the extremely safe pass.
Yeah.
So the way resetting spinner mechanics works, each time you go into a bag or you go into the TM case, it'll reset the timer for a spinner to spin, and the earliest time they can decide to spin is 32 frames after you unpause or you re-enter the map. And it takes 16 frames to walk 2 tiles. Or no, it takes 32 frames to walk 2 tiles. So the extra bag manip was to ensure that he can get past the spinner by the second step.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we see Amoeba's meeting Bill, who's cosplaying as a Clefairy. And he's just going to restore him back to his human form. Kurt, meanwhile, fighting Camper Flint, which is one of the 2 trainers you could fight. This is generally the trainer you fight if you're on the fastest route with the Squirtle starter. But there is an option to fight Knob with Squirtle as well, which we might see Asmo do. We shall see.
Fighting Knob is pretty beneficial, especially if you have high speed, but really good if you have Torrent, because if you are able to fight, or if you fight Knob, you will get level 25 before the last that Kurt's fighting, and then if you have Torrent, Water Pulse becomes a range to knock out both of these Oddishes, so you can save having to Mega Kick which is a very nice luxury.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is their ranges. So the pulse range on the second oddish is actually worse than the odds to hit a kick, but sometimes you don't have a choice if you run out of kicks.
Yeah, looks like Kurddt saved a kick for that specific oddish. Or actually, no, he didn't have Torrent. What am I saying?
See Amoeba fighting Dig Rocket. Now, it would be really nice to have Blaze here, because the Machop would go down to a Blaze Ember. He had to use Punch there to do a bit of damage. And then hits his kick on Drowsy. Very nice.
Really nice.
Looks like Asmo hit Dan, unfortunately. But luckily for him, Wartortle's got a really fantastic move, Bite, which is Dark type and super effective on the Slowpoke. Knocks it out in one hit. Okay, now we see Amoeba. He's going to go fight Misty. So what he's going to do here is he just hit level 24 after fighting Dig Rocket. He's going to use the 2 candies he had in his bag, which our Squirtle Runners used before Misty. Candy to level 26 before Misty and heal up sufficiently such that he doesn't die to a Water Pulse from Starmie. And he's going to save because this fight can go south pretty easily.
Yeah, a nice benefit, you are outspeeding Misty now for both pokes now that you hit level 26. But you're forced to use not 100% accurate moves for the entirety of the fight.
Yep, so he'll go for Mega Punch on Staryu, and then he has to kick. Well, he can use kick and punch on the Starmie. Luckily, his attack is extremely good. He's got perfect attack, so he can use Mega Kick plus Mega Punch on the Starmie, because Mega Punch is a little more accurate. And he's through. Very good.
Really nice. First try Misty.
I think we can switch audio to Kurddt now, because Kurddt is technically a little bit ahead of Amoeba, because Amoeba has to go back through the Dig House.
Oh yeah.
Whereas Kurddt is just finishing up the Dig Rocket now. But very, very close between Kurddt and Amoeba right now. And Asmo, a little ways back, but still in it. He's just finishing up the Oddish Girl at the end of, right before Bill's house.
Alright, so we'll go ahead and switch to Kurddt now.
So Amoeba's going to do a shop here in Cerulean. He's going to pick up some items here. He's going to have to pick up a few extra things that the Squirtle Runners are not going to be grabbing. And it's worthwhile to pick up some of these items you can't buy in Vermilion, so he's going to grab them here in Cerulean and then exit. He's not going to be shopping in Vermilion as a result.
Yeah, the Cerulean shop is actually a really nice shop to go to. It has potions, super potions, repels, and escape ropes. Normally you see like a variation of those items mixed in on some shops, but the Cerulean shop's pretty OP.
It's a little bit of a detour to get to, but its usefulness outweighs that slate time lost to get to it.
Alright, so we have all 3 runners now have freed Bill.
Kurddt just made his way through the camper fight with the Spear on the Raticate. We see Amoeba here is going to actually fight. So he actually set up his HP really well before Misty, so that now he's in Blaze. And as a result, this Butterfree, which Kurddt and Asmo will be dodging, or Kurt's already dodged him, but this Butterfree is guaranteed to go down to a Blaze Ember from Charmeleon. And getting level 27 here for Amoeba is very helpful, because it's going to help a little bit on the next fight. Or not the next fight, the fight against Rival on the boat.
Yeah, so the way the normal char route works, you would get level 27 from a rare candy as you're going to Rival 2, since you skipped Misty, or you were delaying Misty in a normal char route. But in this route, since you already fought Misty, you naturally hit level 27 before Rival 2. And then he also gets the extra experience from Elijah. Elijah's an optional, but what that extra experience is going to allow him to do is later on, after fighting an alternate trainer in Rock Tunnel, he's going to have enough experience to hit level 32 before Dudley in
2
Rock
kick
Tunnel.
misses.
Oof. Yeah, that is not good.
Unfortunately, he's not in Blaze, because Blaze Ember would be able to take out that Raticate.
Yeah. Blaze Ember's a range on that Raticate.
Oh, it's a range.
Yeah, Amoeba discovered that yesterday in a practice race before today. Oh, he's also grabbing the Max Ether. PP can get a little tight in this Charmander route, in Rock Tunnel specifically, so he's probably grabbing it now to either restore like Mega Kick PP or Ember PP when he's in Rock Tunnel.
Kurddt having a pretty rough time with this Ivysaur over here.
Yeah.
So for Kurddt, optimally, you enter the fight in pretty high torrent. You're able to knock out the Pidgeotto in one hit, and then you can get one hit in on the Ivysaur without it knocking you out. But a lot of times you're going to be using a Super Potion on this fight because you'll either fail to flinch, it'll knock you low to low HP, or you'll just be at too low HP to tank it by whip.
Alright, Kurddt is finally through. Hits his kick. If you're in Torrent, you can Water Pulse this Raticate, but if you're not, you have to Mega Kick, and he misses there.
I think he's out of kicks now.
Yeah. He's Water Pulsing to 17, which I think for him is a range to die to Confusion from Kadabra. So we might see a heal. Oh, no. Just get lucky.
Very good. Alright, Amoeba's saving before Rival 3, and Asmo's just about to start up Rival 3 as well. So all our runners are very close right now. This fight is also bad for Charmander, as we'll see here.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Muckwing.
I was gonna say, we missed it, but Amoeba, before he ran up the stairs, he went into the kitchen and grabbed a Cherry Berry. That Cherry Berry is going to come in very useful for the Surge fight he will be doing. Normally, Char would delay Surge until after you've beaten Erica and Geo1, but he'll be doing it early, and he's likely going to see Thunder Wave on that fight, which is why he grabbed the Cherry Berry.
Mm-hmm. We see Amoeba healed at the with the Bed Lady before the Rival 3 fight. Kurddt and Asmo will be healing after, because going in with low HP is much more beneficial for Squirtle. And so he had to switch out there because of the sand attack from Pidgeotto, but hits the kick on Wartortle, and then it finishes off with Punch. So that Wartortle loves to use Withdraw as well, so missing that first kick is absolutely devastating for Charmeleon, because the Wartortle's favored to withdraw, and then it's a 3-shot from there. It looks like we'll see a damageless fight from Amoeba. That's very interesting. Very good Rival 3. Looks like Asmo just got through the Ivysaur on the other side as well, so...
Really nice.
Yep.
Kurddt making a trip back to the shop.
Picking up some Awakenings. I guess he's very
like
low.
Smart play. You're still fighting, I think, let's see, 4 Oddishes and 1 Bulbasaur from this point, and all of them have Sleep Powder.
Ooh,
so
first can.
Very nice. So
yeah, there is a
1 in 3 chance for an adjacent can to match here. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, we got it. Yeah, you got the can. I was gonna say you can pick up a Chesto Berry later as a sleep healing item, but there's so many Oddishes to fight and whatnot that can put you to sleep. Picking up those Awakenings is definitely a good play.
Yeah, Kurddt got golden cans. First can he looked for, and first try, second can as well. It's the dream.
Hopefully his Surge fight is just as good.
Yes.
He will be saving. This fight is a run killer in PB attempts, so always a good good play to heal or save here for races.
Yeah, this fight's very dangerous for a Squirtle if you are fighting it early. I would know. You definitely do not want to miss a move on this fight. The Raichu is extremely favored to double team first turn, so from that point on, all your moves aren't going to be 100% accurate, and you just have to hope that you win a coin flip. Amoeba finds his cam, so he's going to be saving another 1 in 3.
Oh, he didn't get it. That's unfortunate. He did find the first can relatively quickly. He checked, I think, 4 or 5 cans prior to finding it. You know, Asmo is about to enter the gym as well, so all of our runners are pretty close. Kurddt unfortunately died to Surge.
Yeah.
That's 1 Surge death.
A Shockwave crit. With Surge, if Raichu crits at any time, you are unfortunately just dead. The setup we have for the fight normally is you want to be at an HP where you will tank 1 Shockwave, and then that Shockwave will put you down into Torrent. That way you can Water Pulse a second time, and Water Pulse non-Torrent plus a Torrent Water Pulse will always kill the Raichu. Oh, Asmo's also on the Surge fight, but his health's a little low.
He's not on Surge, he's on Heathen Engineer. Unfortunately, that Engineer's Voltorb has very good special defense, so it does not go down to a Water Pulse.
And we see Amoeba resetting on his fight. Looks like he didn't have a very favorable start there. Kurt's gonna super here because he's likely going to see Quick Attack, I hope?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. And luckily
that's a little bit of an unconventional fight for Kurddt there.
Yeah.
Got taken to low HP really quickly, and then had to heal, and then got Quick Attack. That was really good. If he gets Shockwave there, he's kind of in a loop. Which you can use regular potions to kind of work your way out of it, but it's slow. Maybe just finishing up Gentleman Tucker. Looks like he got Quick Attack or something from the Pikachu.
Yeah.
So he did take a bit of damage.
If you're a Charmander, you need Blaze to Ember one-shot that Pikachu. You could do something like Mega Punch or Mega Kick, but you risk static. And for Amoeba on this Surge fight, since he's not in Blaze, he's going to have to Mega Kick this first Voltorb. It's the only move that'll kill it one-shot. Oh, nice Slam Miss from Pikachu for Asmo.
So I believe Amoeba will have to go for a double punch on this Raichu.
Yes.
To hit it. Unfortunately, he missed. That's a really bad one to miss because this thing will spam double team as well. But luckily, he got the Cherry Berry. Oh, he's going for Thunder Wave multiple times. And Shockwave. Wow, no double teams. Please hit. Okay, good.
Really nice for Amoeba.
And Asmo is starting up the Surge fight as well. The Cherry Berry is on the SS Ann in the kitchen at On and On.
Alright, Asmo reaching Raichu. Since he's at full health, he won't get hit into Torrent from this Shockwave, so he's gonna have to Mega Kick here. Wow. Another crit Shockwave. Keep adding them to the list.
Kurddt is on the fight in Gen 1, what we would refer to as the 4-turn Thrash Girl. This fight you need to kick the Oddishes and bite the Bellsprout, so chances to get statused here if you miss. I don't believe the Oddishes have any attacking moves. I could be wrong though.
No, you're correct. They only have powder moves and sweet scent, so not dangerous unless you're in low health and you get poison powder, but could be a lot of time loss if you end up missing a kick. It looks like Kurddt's through just fine. Asmo again against Raichu.
Kurddt executing the run to bike, very nice. It's a nice little trick you can use to force the spinner to look in one direction, and then you just whiz by on the bike. Asmo missing a kick, that is not good.
That was very nice. He's gonna have to try and heal himself to...
Oh, we got crit again!
No way! Oh my gosh. Getting flashbacks. Surge death.
Brutal.
Surge is easily the worst fight in this entire run. You could ask any FireRed LeafGreen runner. It's when it works, it's a quick fight and you won't notice anything, but it is just so easy for this fight to turn bad very quickly. And you just need one thing to go wrong.
Then he misses the range. Good news is Surge uses the super potion here, and he only has the one super potion, so if he were to knock the Raichu at really low HP, he doesn't have to worry about the heal. And then he got Shockwave crit. That is insane.
Wow.
Bad luck for Asmo there.
That's awful. I think what Asmo was doing was he was maybe trying to stall there to get a little bit of damage so he wouldn't have to Mega Kick the Raichu. Very unlucky to get the crit there. Now he's going to be forced into a heal.
But I think
Certainly
that's...
potions. Yeah, that's...
Yeah, in that case you would potion and then get knocked to low HP, and then hopefully you get knocked into quick attack range. But that might be too much HP. He might still go for the Shockwave. Like, quick attack does less than 10, I'm pretty sure.
Kurddt's currently in Rock Tunnel. He's fighting some Slowpokes. Those Slowpokes are very bulky. They're a very low chance to one-shot for the Wartortles with Bite. And then once Amoeba reaches Rock Tunnel, he's going to be having to Mega Kick them because they're so bulky. And in some cases, he can use a Mega Punch to two-turn it, but he'll have to be using his kicks for sure.
Yeah, so our Squirtle runners will be using kicks a lot on the Oddishes and whatnot. Whereas Amoeba is going to have to use a lot of kicks on Slowpokes instead.
Kurddt sees Confusion Confuse. Getting confused from the move Confusion is only a 10% chance to happen. Luckily he hits through, and Confusion just heals itself as soon as you're out of battle.
Ooh, it looks like Asmo missed the first pulse. That's always awful.
Please hit the second.
Okay. He got crit again!
Holy...
What on earth?
Wow.
This is insanity.
3 Surge crits for Asmo.
I think he got 4. We got one from the Voltorb as well.
Oh yeah, you can include that one as well. Very,
that one didn't
very
kill him,
unlucky.
but
yeah,
it contributed to it.
Super unlucky circumstances.
Ooh, maybe it gets
Asmo
Growl
here.
from the Slowpoke there, so I think he has to still kick, or he's going to go for the punch. Ooh, he missed.
Oof. Yeah, Mega Punch and Mega Kick. Don't use them if you only have 100% accurate moves.
He just missed 3 Mega Punches in a row. Luckily, we're not donating for that, too.
Yeah.
But now we can finish him off with Blaze Ember, so that works, I guess. That's really irritating, though.
Yeah. It's slightly good for him, because for the Charmander route, having Blaze and Rock Tunnel really helps you out. If you have Blaze, you can one-shot most pokes. It is a little dangerous, because if I believe one trainer is going to be arranged to one-shot, and if he doesn't one-shot it, there's a chance he sees Magnitude.
That's
so we'll
pretty
see
rough,
what
yeah.
he does with his HP situation here.
Hey, see, Azo here has to hit the pulse, and he does. He's finally through Surge.
Yes. Sweet release.
So Amoeba's through the Slowpokes. He's about to start up Martha, which is a very scary fight for the Squirtle runners, but it's a breeze for Charmander because you can just use Ember. These things are easy pickings with fire moves. Yeah, as we're going to pick up the bike voucher from Vermilion, I'm sure all of us have missed getting the bike voucher before and had to go back. Walk of shame.
Yes, the walk of shame. For the Squirtle route, there's 2 different trainers that you could fight in this tunnel. Kurddt already passed them up. I believe he's doing the world record route, which fights Hiker Allen, which has 1 level 25 Geodude. We'll see Amoeba fight the other optional, or the alternate trainer that you can fight in Rock Tunnel, and his name is Hiker Eric, and he has a Machop and a Onix. For Squirtle, that EXP would allow you to do something called, it's another way to start on the Knob Route experience. You would candy early, get a few extra levels for the Koga Gym, and then have some ranges to deal with later. It's a very nice route, very safe route. Really helps out the one-shot Koga range. It goes from, I want to say, 5 and 16 to, or actually I think it's 6 and 16 to 11 and 16.
Yeah, it becomes much more favorable. We see Amoeba using Cut on the Onix to try to stall for some damage. Having Blaze is really nice. That's a nice crit bind.
Really nice.
Because the next fight he's going to be doing is absolutely awful to do without Blaze, and especially since he doesn't have Metal Claw anymore.
Yeah, I forgot about that detail as well.
So there's another option you can fight for a trainer here. The Squirtle runners will fight the guy with the 2 Onixes and the Machop, whereas Amoeba is going to fight Lenny, who has 3 Geodudes and a Machop. No, wait. No, he has 2 Onixes and a Geodude. This guy has 3 Geodudes and a Machop. And Blaze Ember knocks them all out, and you can use Metal Claw to 2-hit them, and if you get a boost from Metal Claw, the attack boost is 10%, you can then just finish them all off with Metal Claw. They're all 1-hits from there, but that's kind of something you don't try to bank on happening, so optimally you just want to get Blaze for this fight.
Yeah, luckily Geodudes, their special defense is so low, water or fire works against them if you have a strong enough fire. Also, earlier we just saw Kurddt, he attempted to do a spinner pass, but I think stayed on his bike. And so he had to do a pause manip to pass him safely. We'll see Amoeba reach that point in about 2 minutes.
Yeah, that spinner's in the dark. He's pretty annoying to pass. But once you're familiar with the layout of Rock Tunnel, you can execute the run to walk. Or run to bike. You can do either or. Or you can just do a bag manip if you're feeling like playing safe.
Asmo is saving for the first spinner pass of the Rock Tunnel split. Just walks past. Very safe. Oh, now that I think about it, that was actually a little bit dangerous, because I don't think saving resets any spinner clocks.
I think you're right about that. Because I've definitely I've definitely saved in Surge's gym and then tried to walk past the spinners in there and got hit. So definitely sure that's.
Yeah. Alright, so Amoeba has now perfectly lined up his Repel to use a Repel here, and will now candy to level 34. The Squirtle route has to go a little bit further into the run to get its 95 power stab move, but Charmeleon learns it at level 34. Very powerful, very nice flamethrower.
Yeah, so that's why he got all that extra experience from fighting the Butterfree. He fought Hiker Eric, and he also fought Knob as well. But the Knob was mainly to get Misty early. 26 for Misty early, but this is a nice little EXP route for Charmander that gets Flamethrower. And Flamethrower just bodies these Geodudes and Graveler. There is an alternative route which gets Brick Break from the SSN. It involves an extra trainer fight, but then you have to Brick Break all these fights. And some of the pokes are not guaranteed to go down, including the Graveler, which has Magnitude. That's always a fun time.
Yeah, a Magnitude from Graveler is never fun. I've had many a Charmander run die to first turn Magnitude on that Graveler. It's what really inspired me to try and find a different way to win that fight. Amoeba, a really, really fast pass. He's his Emerald experience really showing there. He's just biking to the spinner, dismounting for one tile, running one tile, and then hopping back on. An extremely fast pass.
Very good. Well, Kurddt just beat the poster rocket and is about to enter the rocket hideout. Asmo just starting up the second slowpoke.
Yes, no time for gambling for Kurddt. We might see Amoeba do at least purchase some coins.
Kurddt picking up the black classes. This is a really nifty item for our Squirrel runners to grab. It boosts the power of dark moves by 10%, which we have Bite, and we're going to be using Bite a lot in the run, and we make a lot of fights much, much better with having the black classes.
Yes. Another thing Amoeba gets to do, both of the Squirtle runners have to take a shop in Lavender Tower. That's where they get all their escape ropes and the super repels that they need for the rest of the game. Amoeba bought repels and escape ropes back in Cerulean, so he can skip this shop, and he's going to do a later shop in Saffron. He also fights an alternate trainer here. Instead of fighting the Growlithe Vulpix Gamer, I think it's Gamer Rich, he fights this last with two Clefairies. Yeah,
you can't really take out the Growlithe and the Vulpix with the moves that you have currently. If the Growlithe didn't have Intimidate, it would probably be possible to use a combination of your Mega Miss moves to do it, but it's much safer to do the Clefairy.
Exactly, and then the worst part is that the Vulpix the gamer sends out at the end has Flash Fire, so you can't even use Flamethrower or Ember.
Oh yeah, that's true. See, Asmo going to fight Hiker Eric as well, so he's going to be using the Knob experience route here. I think because Asmo hit that extra trainer in Surge's gym, he could have just fought Hiker Allen instead.
You are right. I think he would be fine on experience. Just playing it safe. He supposes just make sure he hits that level.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to figure out the experience on the fly, and sometimes it's just better just to go for what feels safest. So nothing wrong with that. We saw Amoeba pick up the coin case from that old man who's broke from gambling. We're going to be using that a little bit later. Also, Amoeba is going to go fight Erica early because the grass gym is super easy to take out this early with Flamethrower and Ember as well.
Oh, Kurddt, very unfortunate. He got Glare from Arbok there after missing the Water Pulse range on it. So Kurt's going to heal Paralysis and then Candy twice. Oh wait, no, actually he hasn't fought the other fight.
He fought the right side first.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's to improve this Ekans range that the left side Grunt has, because it has slightly better special defense than the right side's guy's Ekans.
Yeah, it's really cool how you abuse the mechanics of which Pokemon are sent out, because if you fight left side first, you get level 34 after you beat the Arbok on the second trainer, but if you fight right side first, you get level 34 after beating the Sandslash, because it gives you so much experience. How does one compare the Charmander route to the Squirtle route in a race? So these routes are for sure very different. Everyone's doing something a little bit different order gym-wise. For sure, everything lines up once everyone has 7 badges, because then from that point on, it's just fight the last gym, fight the E4, beat the game. So I don't think we'll see a true lineup until possibly when they all enter Tower for the first time. But then even after that, the Amoeba will be doing different orders of things. because Charmander has to deal with having not as strong base defense or special defense like Blastoise has. That's what makes Blastoise a really good Pokemon to run this game with, because it can tank a lot of moves if things go wrong.
Yeah, Amoeba also will have the badge from Erica as well, so it's not going to be a perfect comparison, but that's about as close as it's going to get until we get to right before Giovanni 3. Also, at this route, Amoeba is going to get Charizard right after beating Erica, which is really, really nice, because when Charizard evolves, or Charmeleon evolves into Charizard, it learns Wing Attack, which is a nice utility move. It's useful to just because of the high PP it has. He'll use it on a few fights coming up here. Meanwhile, Kurddt is on Kangaskhan, Giovanni. This Kangaskhan's a 2-hit range with Torrent Water Pulse. It's almost possible to 2-hit it with Torrent Pulse. I think you can be like 1 or 2 HP short from getting that, but it involves 2 1 in 16s. It's not very likely to happen, but it wouldn't even not go down anyway. So your best case is to be in high torrent there and get the 2-shot with Water Pulse and be able to tank a Mega Punch from the Kangaskhan.
Yeah, Kurt sees Double Bite from Kanga. Very nice. It has Fake Out, which it could lead first turn, which can ruin just any HP setup you had for that fight. Or sometimes it can knock you into torrent. It's nice. But it also has Tail Whip and Mega Punch. And if it gets off a Tail Whip and then Mega Punches you, and you're forced to do the 3-turn fight, that could get a little scary. Also, Amoeba has found time to purchase some coins during his run. They're actually really important, because for the Charmander route, for a little bit of extra safety and some very fast and cool fights later on, he's going to purchase Chorkle as soon as he's done with the Game Corner shenanigans beating Team Rocket. And what that item does, it gives a 10% boost to your fire moves. And with that, he's going to be able to have some really good and fast fights. Especially come E4.
Kurt just finished his shopping trip, so all our runners will be purchasing X items at the department store. Amoeba will be doing it a little bit later because he doesn't need X items for Lavender Tower, whereas Kurt does. The Squirrel route does, rather. Because again, Charmeleon or Charizard has its super strong stab move pretty early, so it can just blitz that fight with Flamethrower.
Kurt gets trolled by Fly Girl, walks up to her, and she walks to the left. Just random, but that Fly Girl has an opportunity to move at least once before you reach her. Sometimes she can move forward, which is better, saves you 16 frames of walking.
Bit of a menu here, so Kurt's going to put on the black glasses, use Repel, teach Fly, toss the Moonstone, just to make scrolling a little bit easier. Ooh, Asmo hit a Biker.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think he turned down a bit too early there, unfortunately, so...
Yeah. Let's see...
Not sure if that crit was necessary. He did have Torrent, but Grammar has very good special defense and HP, so...
Yeah,
Yeah.
We'll see.
Might not have been needed, who knows.
Torrent is just OP.
You know, Amoeba's going into the Rocket Hideout. These fights are all pretty easy. You don't have to worry about any ranges or 2 hits on any of the Rockets in here, because Charizard's just super strong.
Also, Kurt's starting his Tower Rival fight. He's going for Mega Kick strats. During that, you would Guard Spec turn 1. It guarantees that you won't be affected by any sand that Pidgeotto throws your way. He X accuracies and then X attacks. And what that does is it takes Mega Kick from a 75% accurate move to a 99% accurate move, and it, with the X attack, allows you to one-shot both Ivysaur and the Gyarados. And excellently planned, the Guard Spec lasts just long enough to tank this Intimidate from Gyarados right before wearing off. Kurt needs a little lower HP, so he's going to stall for one Thrash before Mega Kicking. That looks like Oron.
Yes, this is kind of the key difference, yeah. Yeah, this is kind of the key difference between the towers, between the two. One of the key differences between the two starters is that Charizard doesn't need Blaze for the tower, where it's actually going to take the heal pad to restore PP primarily. But Blastoise is going to need to set up Torrent for some of the fights coming up, including Koga. So you kind of need to get that Torrent set up here and then hold on to it through the rest of the tower and on to Fuchsia City.
Alright, so Amoeba is on to his Geofight. There's two ranges here. I forgot if Amoeba's in Blaze or not. But even in Blaze, this first Onix is a range with Flamethrower. Okay, he's at full health. That is nice. Gets Bind Miss. You know, I may have been wrong. Maybe in Blaze it's guaranteed. I think I just entered this fight a lot out of it.
Yeah, it's guaranteed in Blaze. The Onix is a range. The Rhyhorn's not, though. It's guaranteed this road.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. And then the former Charizard route is level 36 against this Kangaskhan. But since Amoeba got all this early experience, he has level 37, which would make a Blaze Flamethrower range better on Kangaskhan, but full HP, so he's just going to two-shot. You know, actually, with HP like this, Amoeba could consider Heal Pad Skip and just grab the Elixir that's in Tower. Which, oh yeah, is another difference between the routes. So, like Iron said earlier, Squirtle will always try and leave Tower with Torrent because it's a setup for the Koga Gym that comes right after it. But in Charmander, or for Charmander runners, in their case, your base special attack is a bit higher than Blastoise, so you don't need Blaze. Yeah, and you also have your 95 power move way earlier than the Squirtle runners do. So just having Flamethrower allows you to heal and not have to go for Blaze at any point and make the run dangerous.
Yeah, this Marowak here that Kurt's facing is perfect IVs in all of its stats, and so you need to have Torrent to knock it out with Water Pulse.
Alright, Kurt's reached the final room in Pokemon Tower. There are 3 rockets guarding Mr. Fuji here. All pretty weak. You can one-shot every single one of these pokes that these trainers have. The only annoying thing is that the last rocket has a Rattata and Eradicate. They both know Quick Attack, and that can sometimes mess up your HP setup that you had for Koga. In some cases it could benefit though. Amoeba did not save for his tower rival fight, and that is because he has a much safer fight than Squirtle does here, especially from full health. He has, I would argue, really a less than 1% chance of dying to this fight. Yeah, see, Water Gun doesn't even do 30 damage. It's a completely safe double wing attack to kill that War Turtle. If you have Blaze, you could just Flamethrower and kill it instantly. This Growlithe, level's too low, Flamethrower kills. Good old Charcoal.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a bit of a theme here of using fire on fire.
Yeah. It's just like that old saying, fight fire with fire. Sometimes it's just your best option. Asmo has reached the 3rd stage of his evolution, finally acquiring Blastoise. And he'll be starting his Geofight as well. Alright, so you saw Amoeba's Repel run out right before that spinner in Pokemon Tower, and he set it up that way by using it as he lined up with a white piece of paper on the desk when he enters Pokemon Tower. It's a really nice Repel wear-off trick that produces, most of the time, an easier spinner pass there, since you would just use another one, and you have to Bagmanip anyway. All right.
Yeah, sorry, I'm having some. Just trying to figure out my issue with my mic right now. I've got some weird thing when I have my headset on and my webcam plugged into my computer. The webcam takes priority, and that mic is awful. So that's why I'm not talking quite so much right now.
No worries. Hopefully you get it figured out.
I'm just gonna go unplug the webcam. To be honest, that's probably the best way to do it.
So Kurt went and grabbed his T there. T God item. It completely neutralizes guards that prevent you from going to Saffron. There are 2 very annoying Pokemon NPCs though, a female Nidoran and a Clefairy. They just move randomly and they love to block you getting the T or leaving. Alright, and we're gonna see Kurt do some biker passes here. Gets first one good. Oh! No. So Kurt hit a biker spinner. He was going for a double Posmanip. And the double Posmanip, the way it works for the biker pass, it's very exact and very tricky because the bike moves at 6 frames per tile, and each spinner can always spin at frame 32. So when you reach the first biker, you will have elapsed 31 frames, and if you pause frame perfectly, he has a chance to spin and catch you. If he doesn't, you pass him, you do a second pause. From that point, you are about 58 frames in from entering that bike route, so you need another 6 frames to elapse to give the second biker another chance to spin, and if he hasn't spun, you pass him. Kurt got very unlucky there. It looks like he executed it a little too fast, and the second biker spun on frame 64. Very unlucky. But looks like he still has a decent lead, so it shouldn't be too much trouble. This does open up the possibility as well of Kurt now doing Knob Route. Because in a normal world record route run, you would be level 38 and just short of level 39 here, so you can't candy in Safari Zone and make the Koga fight better. But now that he's got that extra experience, he could consider it. Kurt's also entering Safari Zone. A really cool place if you run the round 2 category, or maybe painful. Depends on your experience. In any percent, we just grab the items we need and dip. One of those for Squirtles being the full restore, that'll be useful later when we have to heal to full before Viridian Rival. And then everyone always grabs the Golden Teeth. Have to be able to let the Warden talk. He gives us strength. There's also a hidden revive. Zero steps out of the way. Kurddt grabs it. And now he will be attaining his 95 power stab move, Surf. Really powerful, and just in time to fight Koga's gym. So also another thing that was kind of rerouted for the Squirtle route. Normally what you would do once you got Surf, you wouldn't even leave the building, you would just retire on the spot, walk out of the Safari Zone, and then bike over to Warden House and get strength there. But it was discovered that walking out and just flying out back to the Poke Center in Fuchsia City is faster, because then you could just bike straight to Koga's gym and then just get strength afterward. So Kurddt uses Oron Berry here. It gives him a bit higher Torrent, which you want to have as high of Torrent entering Koga really as possible, because you want to be able to tank sludges from Muck or Wheezing, but you also need Torrent so that way you get the good fight. Muck is a 2-shot always, and then Wheezing is going to be a range. It looks like Kurddt didn't candy beforehand, so he's going to have a 6 and 16 range for the Wheezing on his Koga fight. Amoeba also, because he bought all those coins in order to get charcoal, had to delay shopping, but now that he's gone through all of the tower, now has the money to buy what he needs. Asmo doing his spinner pass in Pokemon Tower. Kurddt passing the last spinner in Koga's gym. And on to the Koga fight. The Koga fight is probably the second hardest, or at least the second most frustrating fight in this run. And that's because even with all this setup that you do, you did tower rival in a specific way. You made sure your HP was in a perfect spot. Most of the time, Muck will use Minimize, just like Double Team for Raichu. So that sucks. You need to hit twice. Let's see. Kurddt gets Acid Armor. That is a very great outcome, while Amoeba's doing his Biker Pass. Acid Armor means no evasion, so Surf stays 100% accurate. So he's through the Muck. And Amoeba gets his Biker Pass. Very smooth. He was doing a safer one where you do a bag manip. You do one bag manip and then you're able to pass. A little bit slower than the double pause, but if it's safe, it's safe. So Kurddt does not get the range on Wheezing, but luckily does not get Sludge Poison. Sludge has 30% chance to poison each time, and if you ask FireRed LeafGreen runners, it will absolutely poison you over 50% of the time. Kurddt is now through, though. Very nice. If Surf doesn't get the range, it forces Koga to heal. So, a very easy way to win the fight as long as you're not poisoned. So Kurt's going to be making his way out, and he's going to be getting strength while Amoeba is entering Safari Zone. Amoeba is going to be picking up pretty much everything else that Kurddt picked up, as well as one extra item, and you'll see it right away. He's going to be grabbing the TM Sunny Day, which is a very, very useful move for Charizard, and it's practically needed if you took a Rash Charmander, as Lorelei, her Dugong using Surf, hits Charizard for just a ton of damage. So you need Sunny Day up to decrease that damage by 50%. That, and it'll also help with some power-ups later. He may not have to use some X-Specs he's planning on using if he substitutes with Sunny Day. Kurt's now surfing to Cinnabar. A very easy gym incoming for Squirtle runners. Water versus fire, we know what wins that matchup. Amoeba, now that he's done with Safari Zone, isn't going to do Koga. He's still at full health. What he's going to do now is he'll bike to Saffron and he'll take care of Sylph Tower and all of the rockets in there. Kurt's 30 speed, so we'll probably see him grab Carbos here. That Carbos, we mentioned it earlier, it's very useful if you have 25 speed or higher. If you are 25 to 28 speed, if you grab Carbos, you can outspeed Blaine. If you are 29 or higher, you automatically outspeed Blaine. But you can also still grab the Carbos. And at 30 speed, you just grab it and you can outspeed Sabrina's Alakazam. And if you don't use Carbos for that, then you end up having to X-speed on a Venomoth in that battle, which has a chance to confuse you. Oh, looks like, I think Iron's back.
Finally. Good
Okay.
grief. Unplugged everything, replugged everything back in, and then had to leave the call, and then rejoin the call.
Wow, that was definitely...
All right, what did I miss? Because I didn't have my headset on for some of that.
You didn't miss too much. I think in the beginning, Kurt hit a biker on Cycling Road.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning he switching to the knob route potentially.
Yeah, he ended up sticking with the world record route. Missed wheezing range, but lived. No poison. And the rest has been pretty much the same. Amoeba's starting his self-rival fight, so the way this works for Charmander, you expect twice. This Pidgeot takes you to almost half health, and then you face a Blastoise. Normally, you would Flamethrower this Blastoise twice, once without Blaze, once with Blaze, and it'll die. But with the route Amoeba's doing, and because he has Charcoal, he can actually Wing Attack first. Oh, gets a Wing Attack crit. That's actually maybe awful? Yep. Oh, crit Water Gun! Crit Water Gun!
I don't think that was Blaze, it was close though.
Yeah, it looked like he didn't knock Blastoids into Torrent there, which absolutely would have killed him if he did.
Oh yeah, I meant Torrent, yeah.
Yeah, but he just gets unlucky with the crit there. The reason why you would rather use Wing Attack on this fight, also Asmo's passing his bikers, looking like he's getting very unlucky with the bottom biker not turning at all.
Oh, he YOLO'd it there at the end there.
Yeah. Alright, so now Amoeba on this time, on the reset, gets Feather Dance, so he can no longer go for Wing Attack strats. The reason why you would want to go for Wing Attack strats is because at this point in the game, Rival's Blastoise knows Protect. And if it protects you, you only have 15 Flamethrower PP, and it's kind of tight between here and Geo's Gym for the rest of the game for your Flamethrower use. Which is why you would want to Wing Attack, so that way if it's a Protect, you're not wasting any Flamethrower PP, but Amoeba's just going to have to Flamethrower here and hope for no Protect.
Yeah, I believe that's a ranged Wing Attack plus Blaze Flamethrower, so...
Yeah, luckily with his attack 31, it's for sure
31's of both, yeah.
Yeah. Alright, and Kurt, like we said, water is just better than fire, gym-wise, so easily defeats Blaine. Didn't even have to X-speed because of his speed. And now we'll be walking out and talking to Bill.
Yes, I just looked it up. It is a 98.8% range.
Oh my gosh. That would have been bad if you saw 2% there. Bill comes to talk to you after you beat Blaine. He tells you about this very nice island that his friend has invited him to. And he even invites you to join. Very nice. However, we have to say no. We have to decline. Have to be introverted. And that is because if you do go to the islands, you're forced to stay on the islands and you cannot leave until you finish a side quest where you're saving a little girl in a forest. And normally, there's so many fights that you have to do. In order to even get to that point, it's at least a 15-minute detour. So if you say yes to Bill there, your any percent run is over. But round 2? Maybe.
Asmo hunting for the revive manages to find it in this fiery zone.
Yeah, I always forget what tile that revive is on. I'm always passing it constantly.
Yeah, if you hit Bill, if you say yes to Bill, you're better off, assuming you save for Koga, of course, you're better off just resetting, doing Koga again, in terms of time.
Yeah. So Kurt's finally making his way to the grass-type gym. Water wants to avoid grass for almost as long as possible. But now this Blastoise is definitely strong enough to be able to one-shot everything in this gym. Possibly. Kurt, right now, looks like he just rare candied early because he had that extra experience. So he's still in Torrent. What that's going to allow him to do is substitute using a Blizzard on Erica's Victory Bell for a Surf, because it's guaranteed to kill. He will have to use one Blizzard on Vileplume, though, as it's the only move that
guaranteed to hit as well.
Yeah, exactly. You would much rather use a 100% accurate move than a 70% accurate move.
Yeah, there is a play where you can set up an X special on Tangela. Tangela is not favored to do anything scary, and then if you're as long as you're in Torrent, you can surf the Vileplume. We saw Kukur do that. In his round 2 race. Amoeba's fighting Giovanni too. This fight can be a little bit scary because you have to set up an X special on Kangaskhan. The Kangaskhan without the X special is a range, but the Nidoqueen you need to be at +1 and Blaze, and even then it's still a range, but it's pretty favorable.
Yeah, I think at 31 special it's going to be a 14 and 16 range for Amoeba to knock out the Nidoqueen. And gets it. Very nice. Although Amoeba's kind of in a tricky spot here because it looks like he'll be leveling out of Blaze within 1 or 2 levels. And Blaze is very important for these next 2 gym fights he's about to do.
See Amoeba going shopping here in Saffron. We saw the Squirrel Runners go to Lavender Mart, but Amoeba needs to get Max Repels still, and he was also going to buy some Hyper Potions, because those big potions are useful for Charmander, because Charmander takes a little more damage. If he is not feeling super safe, he might opt to skip buying full restores at the Indigo Plateau as well, because you can buy enough Hyper Potions to get through there. I think he only bought 5, so he might be buying full restores as well.
I certainly hope so after yesterday's race. Another reason why it's just like okay to buy Hyper Potions instead of full restores like the Squirtle route does is because for Charizard's setup throughout the E4, it doesn't really have a chance to see a move that'll cause a status. Something that can be fixed by a full restore. Whereas if you're a Squirtle, for sure Lapras is a problem. It can confuse you, it can body slam you and paralyze you. So having a full restore is basically necessary since you're forced to see those moves.
And whereas you get frozen by Dugong as well.
Oh yeah, Dugong freeze. Luckily, Charmander doesn't have to deal with any of that since it'll set up all before it could ever see those moves and then one-shot everything. And then another secret benefit You can still get frozen as a Charizard by Ice Beam from Dugong if you happen to see it, although it is not likely. But there's a mechanic where if you use a fire move while you're frozen, you will unfreeze instantly. So if you use Flamethrower, it's like the freeze was never there.
Apparently, Kid Rocker in chat mentioned Asmo got a crit on the Koga fight. Didn't see which Pokemon it was, but if you crit the Muck, for sure, that is a very nice critical.
Yeah, even if it was on the Weezing as well.
Because that's a range.
Yeah. Oh, on the Muck. The Muck crits.
Very nice.
The God crit to get, absolutely. Oh, after X-Spec too. Right, so Amoeba is now making his way down to Koga.
And Kurt's fighting Sylph Rival.
Yeah, so Amoeba's already done his Sylph and Sabrina portion of his run, so he's just going to be doing Koga here and then heading straight to Blaine to get his 7th badge. Kurt still has to deal with Sylph Rival and everything else. Gets early
This
level
fight can't. Yeah, this fight for Kurt can be a little bit scary because if you miss a Blizzard here after the setup, it's you're pretty much done. The Venusaur uses Razor Leaf, right? So it could still miss that, but
yeah, you can get a Razor Leaf miss. It's very unlikely. Same accuracy as Tackle.
Yep.
Kurt did a +2 strategy on this Sylph Rival fight. You could go +1 or +2, but if you're in +2, it guarantees Gyarados will die to a Blizzard in one shot.
On the Knob route, we generally go +1, and then because we're level 44 for the Gyarados, so it doesn't go down to Blizzard at +2. Or it does, but it's a pretty bad range. So generally go to +1, take a bit of damage from the Gyarados. Do to hit it.
Asmo got some bad Walker RNG there, as the Walker turned right where you need to pass through to get to the next statue. I had to wait for him to move. Walker movements are random, and not much is really known about their patterns, how fast they move, or anything like that. Oh, looks like Asmo may have used a repel too early, and it looks like his steps have run out before he's been able to get the key.
Oh,
so
no.
Might get a couple more encounters here.
Meanwhile, Amoeba's fighting Koga, so this strategy's on is really nice. You can use one candy before Koga to hit level 45. Unfortunately, he missed the Muck range, which is really not great. With his special attack, that Muck is a 7 and 8 range with Flamethrower and Blaze. Ooh, now he's missing. That's
Oh no. Oh.
not looking good.
Yeah. Just like the Surge fight. Okay, so Amoeba, because he missed so many flamethrowers, he's gonna have to max Elixir in fight to re-get that PP.
Yeah, his PP should be okay. He doesn't have too much to worry about. You can Elixir even before the fight if you ran out of flamethrowers early, and that ends up working out okay. Luckily, he didn't get poisoned by Sludge, and he's able to get the hit for his life right there on the Muck.
Yeah, if Amoeba had gotten that 8 and 7 range, it would have been really nice, because with the extra level and with Charcoal, Koga just becomes a one-shot on each poke for the most part. A much better scenario than the Squirtle route where you're constantly risking getting poisoned.
And looks like Kurt is through Giovanni too. That fight's generally fine to go. You're pretty clean to get through. Unfortunately, the Kangaskhan is the 13 and 16 range. And if you miss it and you're low HP, it can just knock you out with Mega Punch. Not a fun time.
Yeah.
There is an option in the Charmander route that Amoeba's on to pick up the Warden Candy. It looks like he's going for it. This is always a really nice play for races. Loses a little bit of time because you have to actually grab the candy. push the boulder, grab the candy, and then use it later, but the benefits it yields are immense, so...
Yeah, and I forgot to mention it while he was in Sylph, but after defeating his rival there, Amoeba grabbed Lapras that he's going to use as his water type for Surf. It's really nice.
Yep.
It's a free Pokemon. It's literally just one step out of the way after beating rival, I think. You get it for free. It knows Perish Song, which you can do some memey things with that. But
Yep.
yeah, it's really great. Learn Surf, learn Strength, so you no longer need anything else for the run. You are good to go.
Yeah, on the Bulbasaur and the Mankey route, we use Perish Song for Lapras. Because it's kind of necessary. But anyway, we won't talk about that. Kurddt is on Sabrina. He's got good enough speed because he's got 30 IV such that he doesn't need to use an X speed on Sabrina to outspeed the Alakazam.
Yeah, and the race so far is pretty relatively close between, or actually, looks like Kurddt has a pretty decent lead. He did hit an optional and died once to Surge, I think from Shockwave crit. But it looks like he's definitely built back up that lead, as Amoeba still has to do his Blaine split before he moves on to the Geo split, and
Yeah.
Kurt's now going to be flying to Viridian. And Asmo now finishing Blaine, so he'll be on to his Sabrina split and will be doing Sylph.
So yeah, maybe here picking up the Carbos. This is going to be useful to outspeed certain pokes in the Elite Four. So right now, Kurt's in Giovanni's gym. This is generally the most relaxing part of the run. Just spam, hit the A button over and over and over again. It can get a little interesting if you like level out a torrent in some cases, if you have like really high HP, but generally it's pretty smooth sailing. And Asmo has successfully said no to Bill and is off to where is he off to? He's off to Erica's gym, yeah.
Oh yeah, I always forget Erica comes before Sabrina. Yeah, I think the distance between the runners, there's probably, I would say, about a 3-minute distance between Kurddt and Amoeba, 3 or 4 minutes. And then between Amoeba and Asmo, probably what chat has said, about 10-ish minutes. It was very unfortunate for Asmo. He had a very awful Surge gym. He saw 3 Raichu Shockwave crits, as well as a Voltorb Shockwave crit on one attempt.
That's some of the worst luck I've seen. Would you say that's worse than your Surge, Muckwing?
I would say yeah. When you get Shockwave crit, there's just nothing you could do about it.
Yeah.
Which just always sucks. But yeah, luckily Asmo's stayed in and he's playing very valiantly right now. Still doing his best.
It looks like he'll level out of Torrent here at 44. Which is technically okay, because he needs Torrent for the Victory Bell, which is the first thing he'll face here. And then he doesn't need it for Vile Plume.
Yeah.
So Amoeba's starting up Blaine, so for this fight, it's a little bit more involved with Charizard. You have to set up 3x specials, and then fire on fire again. You don't want to use a 4th X special, because Growlithe will use Roar, and eliminate all of those stat ups you got. That's a nice Fire Blast miss there.
Yeah, very
the Growlithe.
nice.
How much does that do? That wouldn't have knocked him out, but it would have gotten him to really low HP, and obviously a crit would have KO'd him there. But now he can just use Ember on the first 2 and Flamethrower on the last 2, and he's good to go. All right, here we got some esports happening over on Asmo's end. Gets it, good.
All right, Asmo's through Erica. Very nice. Always nice to see a 70% Blizzard hit.
Mm-hmm. Alright, and Kurt's finishing up Giovanni, so he'll be over to fight Viridian Rival in a minute or so. Meanwhile, Amoeba is going to fly over to Viridian after successfully saying no to Bill, and he'll be going to fight Giovanni's gym.
Yeah, luckily Amoeba has Blaze for Geo's gym, as well as enough flamethrowers to get through the entire gym. For Amoeba, he needs at least 8 flamethrowers between Warren and the Geo fight. It's quite a lot, and if you max elixir like he did during the Koga fight or before the Koga fight, your your flamethrower PP count is very tight. But as long as you ember the first 2 pokes on Bling's gym, you should have enough going forward.
Yeah, and you can use Ember on 3 pokes in Giovanni's gym, on the Machop, on the Black Belt, on Warren's Nidorina, as well as Giovanni's Dug Trio, so he's got some options.
Yeah, speaking of options, we'll have plenty of them once he gets to Viridian Rival. There's several different ways you can go after beating Geo, because he'll need to be teaching a couple of moves as well as healing to whatever HP he wants to for his particular setup. And speaking of that Viridian Rival fight, Kurt's starting his. He's going to X-Spec twice and then probably X-Accuracy. Yep.
Yeah, I noticed Kurt, I think he bought a few extra X-Accuracies in the department store. I think he bought 7, so...
Okay, yeah.
This is one of the fights you could elect to use a second X-Accuracy on to guarantee hitting the Blizzard.
So if you did kickstrats like Kurt did, you need 5 X-Accuracies for the entire game if you want to X-Accuracy on each fight you're going to be having to use a Blizzard or a Mega Kick on. So buying 7 is extra insurance. A lot of people like to use, if they have the opportunity, an extra accuracy on, what's his name, Lance? Because yeah, you'll be forced to hit 4 or 5 93% Blizzards, and you're still very likely to hit all of them, but we've seen it repeatedly where runners will miss one of those 5. But if you double X accuracy, 100% accuracy then, and no worries.
Yeah, you could also use a second X accuracy on Sylph Rival or even Champion, but that's generally a situational case. Generally, that only happens if the Venusaur goes for growth after the first X accuracy.
So Kurt had to X speed there because he didn't see Rain Dance from Gyarados. And that is because Rival's Alakazam is still faster than you, so you have to X speed to be faster than him and kill him with your Expect Surf. And if you're not faster than him, it gives him a chance to use Calm Mind, in which case Surf will not kill. The only scenario where you would not X speed on Growlithe is if you saw Rain Dance from Gyarados, because it boosts your water moves by 50%.
Oh,
making it so that way...
Asmo missed
Oh,
sorry.
Wow, actually, yeah, that's awful. Assuming he X-Act before that, that is a 7%
he did
miss.
save, though.
That's why it's pretty important to save before Sylph Rival. The way the setup on this fight works, you have all your setup done on Pidgeot, and if you end up dying to Venusaur, then you have to reset up if you want to continue the fight, as well as have a revive. It can be done, but if you don't reset and just redo the fight and hope for a better outcome, it still loses almost a minute and a half to have to reset everything. And still you have a chance to die to Venusaur. Kurt's going through his badge checks. making sure he's tough enough for the E4. Also,
It's Blizzard there.
nice. So for Squirtle runners, if you didn't catch a Sandshrew as your cutter, you now teach Strength to your Blastoise. Gets 1 more HM. Water Pulse is a move we no longer need. So, bye-bye. If you did end up catching a Sandshrew before Cerulean City, then it's a little bit of time save because you could teach Strength as well as cut the Sandshrew. And then you don't have to go through the like teach over move menu because Sandshrew will only know 3 moves up to that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you get a Nidoran, that's another option as well.
Oh yeah.
That usually only happens if you don't get anything on Route 1, and then you pretty much run through the grass trying to get something. And if you get a Nidoran, that's a nice bonus because it gets the strength as well. But usually, if you're just missing a cutter, you would go for the grass after Mount Moon or get a Paris because you're more likely to get a cutter in those areas.
Amoeba flexing on us by showing his ID, showing his badges and his money. A complete set of 8 badges.
Alright, so this next section for Amoeba, pretty much the last few fights, there's going to be a lot of options in terms of what strategies you can use. You can teach Sunny Day or Fire Blast or both before Viridian Rival. There's a few different options you can do. He's also going to use all the rest of his candies to get up to level 52 before this fight. And the way the XP works out is really nice because even though he candied before Koga, he still will just hit level, 48 after Giovanni. So healing to full here is actually not a good idea because very, very unlikely to get Blaze off of the Pidgeot because you're such a high level. So he's healing part way and he's going to be setting up slightly less and perhaps making use of Sunny Day here. We'll see what he does. So he'll probably go to +2. His HP is a little low here, so he's going to be using a Super Potion. He was probably going to go for Sunny Day, but then the Pidgeot has Quick Attack, so he don't really want to have to deal with that. Yep, that should work. So +2 with Blaze in the Sun, the Blastoise is guaranteed with 31 special attack with Flamethrower. And then everything else should go down to Ember. As well. So Ember's a nice little move to keep this late in the game because Charizard has really good special attack, and a lot of the pokes don't have great special defense, and you're generally in Blaze, so it works out really well. Meanwhile, Kurddt is starting up Lorelei. This fight is pretty annoying to deal with at times. You want to talk about that, Mockwing?
Yeah, sure. So the way the Lorelei fight works for Blastoise, you're going to set up 4x specs, and then you're going to be spamming Bite for most of the fight. Bite's still a move that we learned right before Misty, and we're carrying it to the very end. Gets Hail this turn. Very unfortunate. So the way Dugong's AI works, it has 4 moves, one of them being Hail. Hail always sucks to get because, as you see, it's extra text and extra damage every single turn. It also knows Surf, Ice Beam, and Safeguard. Ideally, you would want to see no Hail, and then you would kill the Dugong and go on. If you do get Hail, it's no big deal, though. Just makes your HP a little bit lower for when you eventually fight Lapras. But there's several things that can go wrong in this fight. First off,
nice
if Dugong...
crit.
Oh yeah, very nice. It was a really good crit. It's going to save some HP for Kurddt there. That Dugong could freeze you with Ice Beam, but the main issue, like we talked about earlier, is Lapras. Lapras, even with 4x specs, is still a 3-shot to die to Bite if you don't crit, because it's just so unbelievably tanky. But during those bites, it has the opportunity to paralyze you with Body Slam. If you heal to full to heal off that paralysis, it could end up using Confuse Ray, which also gives you just a 50-50 chance to get screwed every turn. Jinx is
I
the
think it
only
also has
Pokemon...
Ice Beam too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that as well. Jinx is the only Pokemon we don't use Bite on because Bite would be super effective at text against Jinx, and Surf is more than powerful enough to kill it after 4 X-Specs. Oh no, Asmo.
Kurt's gonna heal here. He could tank a Body Slam up from 44 HP here, but if he gets crit, he's dead, so that's obviously not optimal.
Yeah.
So he's gonna play it safe here. We hopefully don't see Confuse Ray. Got the flinch, beautiful.
Really, really great.
That's a pretty decent fight for Kurt overall.
Yeah, a crit and a flinch is really nice to have, especially on that turn where it was likely he was going to see Confuse Ray. So another thing here for Kurt, the HP you leave Lorelei with can affect what strategy you do on Bruno. Kurt's probably not going to heal and he's just going to go straight in, or after a save. But since his HP is high, what we'll probably see him do is use 2 X-Specs first into an X-Speed, because what Bruno likes to do with his lead Onyx is he'll Rock Tomb you first turn, so that way you are slower than him. But after that, he's likely to just use his most powerful move, which is Earthquake, which is what Kurt will want to see, because he'll need to get into Torrent for this fight as well as the next D4 fight. Alright, and Asmo is through Sabrina. Had a reset once. Very unfortunate. But he's now moving on to the 8th gym leader. Okay, Kurt has to X speed here. Alright, so his HP is a little
low, yeah.
Yeah, he's in Mach Punch range from the next poke, Hitmonchan, but he can just super from here and more than likely be fine and still end up in Torrent.
Yeah, so unfortunately, his HP was a bit high after 2x specials, so he set up a 3rd, and that was necessary not only to make sure it wasn't really, I think he was fine for Torrent for this fight, but you don't want to level out a Torrent on Agatha, and I think that's what he was going for there. But his HP is fine now. We've seen cases where that Hitmonchan will go for Rock Tomb, even though Mach Punch can kill. That's really unfortunate when it happens, but luckily we saw Mach Punch there from Hitmonchan.
Yeah.
Amoeba successfully traversed the Victory Road, and now he's into the Elite Four, which is considerably more complex for Charizard than it is for Blastoise.
Yeah, there's really only one fight that becomes easier or like has less thought than the Blastoise route.
Yeah.
But Amoeba's got to get through 2 hard fights to get there first. Kurt also now entering the worst D4 member probably for the Squirtle route. Just like Koga, just like Surge, Agatha leads a Pokemon that knows Double Team, and she absolutely loves to spam it. Loves to spam it so much. And the unfortunate part is we have to set up twice for this fight. So you have to set up an X speed and an X spec, and you still have to remain in Torrent to be able to knock out everything else in this fight. But most of the time that just means you have to try and hit a 60% surf. So we'll see what happens with Kurt as Amoeba is starting his fight.
So this fight is... Ooh, that Shadow Punch from Kurt. And it's the Surf. Okay, so this fight's really awkward for Amoeba because he's rash. The play optimally, you'd go X-Spec turn 1. The Dugong would use Surf, and then you would use Sunny Day, and then it would Surf you again, but the Sunny Day lowers the Surf damage, and so you would then get knocked into Blaze. But because his special defense is very low, he's going to opt to use Sunny Day turn 1, and then he's going to take turns with the Dugong, swapping Hail with with Sunny Day. Unfortunately, he missed a Fire Blast, which is not good.
No.
on the
Yeah.
Dugong. Fire Blast is a little more accurate than Blizzard. It's 85% accurate, but missing one it can be very catastrophic, as you can see here.
Yeah, normally for the Charizard route, if you ever miss a Fire Blast, you're normally just you're gonna get knocked out, which is the unfortunate part of the Char route. But he has practice hitting these 85% after learning Mega Punch earlier in the run. Hopefully, it carries over this time. Right, and Kurt is now done with Agatha, and we'll be moving on to the Dragon Tamer.
Yeah, if Amoeba is able to get to +2 here and have Blaze and the Sun, he can use Flamethrower on the entire fight because of his higher level and the fact that he's got the Charcoal, which is very nifty because you don't have to rely on Fire Blast. But that's kind of rare. You kind of need to have the Dugong use Safeguard for that to happen, which we did not see. So he's going to have to hit a Fire Blast on Dugong as well as Slowbro.
Alright, so Kurt has taken this, his lead and his E4, very safe saving before each E4 member. He does have a pretty large lead over Amoeba and Asmo right now. A lot would have to go wrong here for Amoeba to catch up.
Let's see which strategy Kurt does here. He's going to go safe and go Bite turn 1. That's generally what you would do if you don't have 31 special attack on the Blastoise route. Because at +1, 2 Blizzards is a pretty terrible range with 30 special attack, so the Bite just does a bit of chip damage. Looks like Amoeba died again, that's unfortunate. Must have missed Fire Blast.
Yeah, so for
Hyper
Amoeba's
Beam
fight...
from full.
Oh. Interesting.
It's an interesting one.
For Amoeba's fight, since he has to do Sunny Day first turn because he's Rash, he will more than likely never get the opportunity to set up more than one X-Spec, which means he has to Fire Blast Dugong and the Slowbro on this fight, so he has to hit both. Oh, gets Safeguard turn 1. What an excellent turn of events for Amoeba.
Yes. So now we can set up a second X-Spec. That's going to make the fight a lot safer. If the sun is up, the Dugong, I think, will always hail, so that's why you could do this. And then right when he's about to use Surf, then you can turn on the sun to reduce the damage. That should be pretty clean from there.
Kurt hits his last Lance Blizzard. Very nice.
So I think here is he fine to Hyper Beam here?
He should be. From 25 Rash, I think he'll just see Ancient Power.
Yep, that's fine. Yeah, crit, Ancient Power, or Wing Attack there would have been a death, but and Ancient Power also, with the boosts, he'd be fine because of Torrent.
Oh, so actually, Aerodactyl Hyper Beam there for Kurt was doing 56 to 66 high roll. So technically, it was a range, but pretty unlikely. It was a good risk, in my opinion. Amoeba's getting the free Lorelei fight now, thanks to Safeguard. Alright, and Kurt's saving again. He's very determined to keep his lead.
Yeah, he's pretty safe to get pot 1 here with even with the death. I think he'd still be okay. Definitely worthwhile to save.
Yeah.
As was just finishing up Viridian Rival, whereas Amoeba's finishing up Lorelei. Okay, so Amoeba's about to start up Bruno. He's got a bit better physical defense, so the strategy here is to use Guard Spec turn 1 and then an X Spec, and hopefully not get crit. He should be good enough with his HP and his defense combination to tank 2 Rock Tombs. And then he can just sweep the fight from there.
Speaking of Guard Spec, Kurt also has to guard spec first turn on Champ, because as you see, this Pidgeot loves to spam sand attacks sometimes, which can actually be very helpful. Kurt saw a ton of sand attacks on this fight, so his HP is really high here. And what that allows him to do possibly is skip a heal later when he gets to Gyarados. He does have to X-Hack here and hit a 93% Blizzard on Venusaur. Oh, gets Growth. That's actually the best scenario. And Amoeba gets crit Rock Tomb from full. That is an
That's pretty rough.
scenario. Kurt hits his Blizzard, so he is safe from.
He should be fine here as long as he doesn't get crit again. But he might have to heal on Hitmonchan.
Yeah, that seems very likely.
Yeah, Mach Punch will kill here. Or will it? Hold on. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does 14 to 17. So he'll just use a Hyper Potion, I think. Or not Hyper Potion, Super Potion. Please don't use a Hyper Potion. Thank you. That's a really good crit from Mach Punch because that's pretty deep Torrent now. And Mach Punch doesn't do a whole lot to Charizard, and you don't want to be... You want to hold Torrent through Agatha.
So, Kurt here is at 89 health. His extreme speed is only doing 30 to 45 high roll.
Oh, he's at 92 actually.
Oh yeah, because of the level up. Oh, because of the biker he hit, actually.
Yep. The late Surge Road also gets 57 for Arcanine. So
Yeah.
that was pretty clean. The Arcanine didn't even go for extreme speed. So GG's to Kurt. Nicely done.
Yes, very good race from Kurt. Coming back from a rival 1 death to Victor. Very nice. Way to stick in there.
It's going to be a 211-ish. Not a bad time, considering everything that happened. Alright, so Amoeba's through Bruno, and so now we're actually going to have the easiest Elite Four fight. This is probably one of the worst for Blastoise, but it's extremely free for Charizard because as long as you're in Blaze, everything goes down to Blaze Flamethrower. And you outspeed everything because of the Carbos he picked up, as well as the higher level he's at entering the fight. Because of the extra candy. Asmo just making his way through the boulder pushes. $211.25 for Kurt. Nicely done.
Very nice. An improvement from his round 1 run. For sure. Alright, let's mark a winner here.
So we'll see if Kurt can hold on to pot 1 here. So only the top 6 race winners will get pot 1. The remainder will get pot 2. So this is currently the 5th best pot 1 time. Alright,
Alright, so
Amoeba is finished Agatha.
Very nice. We'll see if we can get Kurt in here for an interview.
Yeah, this Lance fight's going to be really interesting for Amoeba. It's kind of similar to the Blastoise fight. You have to set up a few X items, but you take a lot more damage because Charizard's a little more frail than Blastoise is.
Alright, hello Kurt. Congrats on your win.
Hello. Thank you.
GG's Kurt.
Really sucks to see a rival 1 death, but you really brought that run back even with a couple more deaths afterward. Is there anything you want to comment about, like any specific part?
I'm very upset with my biker pass.
Yes. That
But yeah, I paused a little bit early. The guy turned like a frame after I unpaused the second guy.
yeah,
Just a bit of a fail there, but no risk, no reward.
That is true.
But yeah, I was pretty confident in my ability to win this one, so I tried to just take it in stride.
Absolutely. This is the best thing you can do, is just try and not get tilted and play your best, and you certainly did.
Yes, this is actually my first race where I didn't die to Agatha, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Oh, nice.
But I did play pretty safely, knowing that I was had a pretty solid lead. I double X stacked on Self Rival and Lance, and healed out of crit range for the last turn for Lorelei, stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely played it very safe, but it was definitely the right way to play. You had a pretty decent lead. We finally have both of our runners in E4.
Looks like Asmo got Hail. Amoeba looks like he'll be fine for... Should be okay for Dactyl. He went for Flamethrower on Gyarados, which means he got to +4 on X-Specs, which means that the Dragonite is guaranteed to die, but he has to hit a Fire Blast.
Yeah, once again hitting Fire Blasts in a do-or-die scenario.
Does seem like the scariest part about running Charizard, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Agatha's free, though, with this road.
Yeah, never save for Agatha.
Well, it is, with lower special attack, it's a 15-16 range, so you can be a weenie and safe, but... Looks like he's gonna heal here, that's... Interesting,
Yeah,
maybe he's not at +4.
Okay, so he got wing attack, so he's going to be able to tank an outrage no matter what. But I don't think this flamethrower will kill.
Not able to hit.
Oh,
Got
safeguard.
the citrus. Even with a citrus, he's fine.
Yeah.
I think he was at +4 there, I'm pretty sure, because usually you need Blaze rather to get the second hit on the Dragonite at +3.
Yeah, it was,
Or
possible
+2, never mind.
Possible he was just playing it safe so he didn't have to risk hitting a Fire Blast.
Yeah, actually, looking at my notes, I think he was +3 because it says you can Flamethrower ×2 there. So. Alright, so Amoeba is now saving for the champ, whereas Asmo is, I believe, about to start up. Oh no, he's on Lapras still. Never mind.
Yeah. Has to heal.
It's paralyzed.
Ugh. Yeah. This is the problem with Lapras. Even after a full restore, you could just get parried again and straight into Confuse Ray. Exactly. Right.
So champion fight here. The old Charmander route, because you have the lower level and no charcoal, very often you need to set up a lot, and that route requires 2 guard specs for champ, and getting crit is a very likely chance. But with this route, you only just set up 1 guard spec.
So it looked like, well, Asmo's currently paralyzed and confused, so
Oh, gets the crit. That's bad.
my goodness. Oh no. Yeah, it did look like Asmo nearly hit that Lapras into heal range as well. Both of his bite rolls were really high.
So one thing Amoeba can do here with Blastoise is, because he's got high enough HP, he can use Sunny Day on the Blastoise. The Blastoise will always go for Hydro Pump. We want it to hit. It did not. That's annoying. That means that it's going to go for Rain Dance.
Yeah, I think I would set up an extra X spec in this scenario, since it'll just always
he got the Fire
Beam.
He just knocked it out with Fire Blast. That works.
Oh, nice. Easy.
So he must have been a pretty high setup there, because that Blastoise doesn't generally die to... Well, he wasn't... He had the sun up, so he should be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, when you set up a bunch of X specs and then add on a 50% weather booster, your moves start to destroy everything.
Yep.
The only issue with Sunny Day on the champ fight is that it could last till Exeggutor comes out for Rival, and if that happens, it has the ability Chlorophyll, which doubles its speed and sun, which It could put you in a bad scenario health-wise. We'll see what happens here. Oh yeah, actually, because of the Carbos, Amoeba outspeeds
Exactly.
the Executor and Sun. Forgot about that.
Okay, so he'll have to go for a 2-hit here. Nice Mankey on Kurt's screen. So unfortunately, I think he's at +3, so he has to 2-hit there. Went for the Fire Blast anyway. So he should go for... He should have gone for Flamethrower maybe there. Actually, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's fun. That works, I guess. This guy does have 4 full restores, so...
Yeah, I think here I would maybe go for the Flamethrower because extreme speed is likely. Or maybe Amoeba's just gonna do the Fire Blast stall out. Stall out all the full restores.
Alright, Asmo is about to fight the Lapras again. There we go. Arcanine's finally down.
Very nice.
That'll be a 220 for Amoeba.
Yes, that is GG Amoeba. GG to the Lizard.
So with pot 2's always advancing, Lizard will fight another round or fight another day.
I'm happy that
Asmo
I'm
got
not
confused. Ugh.
the lowest pot
Hits
3
through.
now. A little sad that I had to be Charmander. I'd be the one to get a worse time.
It's well played by Amoeba. Did get some bad luck, but stuck it out, and we'll move on to round 3. Meanwhile, Asmo is going to start up Bruno. Looks like he's going to be going for mid HP strats here.
Yeah, definitely Amoeba played, I would say, very well for a Char run. His race in round 1 was, let me explain it again, incredible. He was deathless through the early game, which are the worst fights for Charmander, and ended up getting a 211. 220, although it's not a very fast time in comparison to some of the race times you've seen, with a Charmander, it's still a very decent time considering all the different kinds of deaths you saw, and you saw as well that he died twice during the setup to Lorelei because he missed Fire Blast twice, and one of them was deep because he missed a Slowbro. So really, if he had gotten through Lorelei the first time, this could have been like a 215 or 216.
Yep. You know, Asmo's doing mid HP Bruno strats, so with medium HP, you can use Guard Spec turn 1 and then set up 2x specs. Unfortunately, there, the Onyx missed a Rock Tomb. I don't think it even went for Earthquake once. So we had to set up another X spec to force Torrent, and then at +3, luckily, you can use Bite on the Onyxes to save the super effective text. But overall, it's slower because you had to set up an extra turn.
Amoeba checking out the Name Raider.
Yeah, we can probably grab Amoeba, bring him in for an interview.
Yes, actually, I need to mark done on Amoeba. My bad.
More shoutouts to Huanli on Amoeba's screen. So it looks like Asmo will have good enough HP for Agatha as well. You want to not level out a Torrent, although I think if he's on the Knob route, he will level out after the last Gengar, so he'll be fine for the Haunter.
Hello, Amoeba. Congrats on your race.
Oh man, what a close race. What a nail bite to finish.
GG, Amoeba.
GG's, dude.
GG's, man.
Well played. That was a hell of a recovery off the awful start.
Well, I mean, it didn't lose me that much time, but it lost me like a minute. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that can happen in the early game that loses you time like that. So, just happened to be Rival 1 this time.
Let's see. Amoeba, was there any part of your run that you want to focus on, or you felt you did really well, or struggled with?
Not really. That's a very standard Charmander. I feel a bit bad that this was on the lower end of a Charmander race that I'd want in a tournament, but as the only reason I kind of beat Asmo was because he got destroyed by Surge. Like,
Yeah,
so
how many times did he die?
I think he died at least 4 times and saw
Jesus.
3 Raichu Shockwave crits, and 1 time got a Shockwave crit from Voltorb. It was a very bad scenario for Asmo. It was, I would even say, worth my time with Surge.
One of my deaths was my first fight through Surge, just turn 1 Shockwave crit when Raichu came out.
Yeah.
Just nothing you could do.
Yeah. I mean, I'd have liked it to have been closer between me and him. I don't like to not win, but take second place over him because he got murdered. But I just got.
It happens. It's FireRed LeafGreen.
You did
I
die
got loads
twice.
of I got loads of the standard Charmander deaths. Like I had a bridge rival death, boat rival death, 2 Lorelei deaths, Sylph rival, and I missed every range in the books. Missed the Koga range.
Yeah, that Koga range. Once
Yeah,
again, 31 special attack not living up to its booking.
Yeah,
I
14
assure you that it
15
is a
on
7 and 8. I did calc that, and I double checked it because I've missed it a lot of times too.
I believe. Yeah. I'm quite happy I'm in round 3 with Charmander, so
Round 3 for Charmander is very impressive.
I will not be in round 4.
I hope I draw you
guarantee
again.
it. How about piss off? How about that? I can see Kuka and Ananan in the chat going, "Oh, I hope we get the lizard boy." Like, not just a free win. Leave me alone. I am going to try my best.
I think I definitely got the luckiest draw of this round.
Yeah, you got quite a nice one. Yeah. No, I mean I'll definitely try and get into the semis, but I've got to acknowledge that Charmander's it's a detriment. Like on the best race day in the world, I'm not going to beat a 211, and that wasn't Kurt's best result. So
yeah, my race PB is actually pretty bad. It's like a 210. I've just never gotten a race where I didn't die in multiple places or hit optionals like I did today.
did Asmo get a Lorelei death as well or something?
Yes, he did.
I believe so. Yes.
It was one of the last turns on Lapras, he got crit by Body Slam.
Unfortunately, I think Asmo might be in danger of going over the cap. The time cap.
Yeah, it looks like it'll be really, really close. Actually, yeah, what Cooker said. It isn't technically possible to sub 230 from this point, unfortunately.
Might see the end of the fight though.
Yeah.
Just use speed up, forehead.
Imagine playing on emulator.
It's all his blizzards. He's probably in range to Hyper Beam. Or maybe not, actually. I think he's got good defense.
Yeah, has higher defense than Kurt did, so he should be fine. Alright, and no ancient power boosts. It's very nice. Shelty
Alright,
asked
so
if we're going to see the YOLO champ from Asmo. The Thunder YOLO champ, to be specific. Just so we can educate anyone who's still here, the Thunder YOLO is a very specific YOLO on champ. That is, in theory, the fastest way to beat champ as long as you hit your blizzards and do all that stuff. The way champ normally works, you set up guard specs, 1x speed, and 3x specs on Pidgeot. Go into Venusaur, you X-Act on his first turn since he's likely to just use Solar Beam and it hits second turn. And then from there your setup is over and you continue with the fight. On the Thunder YOLO, You use a guard spec, you set up your X speed, 2 X specs, then you Blizzard on Pidgeot, which is the only move that will kill it for sure from that point. You use your 3rd X spec on Venusaur, YOLO Blizzard the Venusaur, and then continue on from that point. Oh, Amoeba has moved on to Pinball. Very exciting for this FireRed
Didn't know it
LeafGreen
was.
race.
Didn't know it was still showing. I'm sorry.
Oh, good.
That's such a lie.
I had no idea. I've not even got the stream open anymore. I just had the chat open on the side of my screen.
Asmo getting some good sand attacks here. Setting up last X spec, I believe. Okay, nice. Gets sand attack on the final turn. Right, Asmo also seeing growth from Venusaur. Really makes Venusaur free if you see growth. If you see Solar Beam turn 1, you instantly know you're dead turn 2 if you miss that Blizzard. But if you see growth, you get 2 chances to hit Blizzard.
Okay, well, we've hit 230. We'll let Asmo finish it out.
Yeah, unfortunate what happened to Asmo on Surge. It cost him just an unbelievable amount of time, I would know. It can be really frustrating when something like that happens. It's so easy to get tilted. Really proud and happy that Asmo was able to continue through. Oh, looks like he gets a 7% Blizz miss on the Gyarados.
Well, he's guaranteed to win from here. Unless he does something, uses the wrong move or something.
Yeah, which
Gets crit.
that happens.
Which has happened.
Okay, and that will be a GG for Asmo. Alright, so as you can see from the final times, it wasn't a very close race. Many things can happen in FireRed LeafGreen that just lose you minutes upon minutes. You could even take different routes like Amoeba did, but still a really nice showing of the routes and just all the different possibilities that you can see when you play this game. It's a very dangerous game to run since there's so many instances where you could lose time or die, but 3 finishes is nice. Right, and
Yeah, so his in-game time was a 212, which would be a pretty decent RTA time, but all those deaths.
Yeah. Alright, I don't know how much more time we have, but we'll see if we can get Asmo in for an interview.
Yeah, let's get him in for an interview, and it doesn't look like we're being booted out just yet, so we can definitely talk with him for a bit. Well, anyway, while we're waiting for Asmo to join, there is another race going on right now over on SpeedGaming 3 between Kidrocker, Leaf, and Kadir, so please check that one out. Our next race, I think, is tomorrow. I could be wrong, but we've got lots of races coming up this week to finish out this round.
Yeah, there is a race going on right now between Kidrocker, Leaf 27, and Kadir. Oh my gosh, I am like...
Yeah, you've also got a race tomorrow, 8 a.m. EDT.
Oh, okay, then I know what race that is.
Be watching that one with my coffee.
International race, international time zones. Able to get Asmo in here, or are we...
I haven't seen anything.
Trying to contact him in the race channel.
Have you clicked him as done?
Yes. Okay, so it looks like he's just waiting for an invite. A bot should have been able to send an invite. Let's see. Is there a way to get a link for this server?
Oh, I don't know if we can do that actually.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's giving me the option when I pull down the options.
Yeah, it might be because we've gone over the 2:30 time frame. I'm not sure if that's a thing.
Maybe.
Yeah, there's normally a way to invite, but it seems to be locked off now. So, oh, there he is. Never mind.
Yep.
Okay, very nice.
Hey, we made it.
Asmo, congrats on finishing your race.
Yeah.
One moment I'm sure. Do you want to talk about Surge, or would you rather?
That was the worst surge I've ever had. I don't know, like it was so bad.
We were talking about whether that was rivaling Mockwing's surge in his round 2 race. It's pretty close.
It was real bad.
When you get that many shockwave crits, I mean, it's just nothing you can do. Just a string of awful luck.
Yep.
It was very fortunate.
I haven't played in a bit, so I knew I was going to be a little rusty, which was like the early game shakiness, but everything after that was just like, oh, they crit me. All right. Like, so it's, it happens. And like I missed 2 X accuracy blizzards.
Yes. You missed one on Sylph Rival, I think?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's definitely not a good one to miss.
Hexac twice is God strategy, by the way.
But yeah, really nice that you were still able to come through after that surge. I mean, I know how tilted I was when I couldn't get past surge.
I was just like in disbelief,
Yeah. Everyone always says you're favored to win that fight. But
I'm glad to increase the average surge time for the pick'ems.
Exactly.
My part.
Me and you. Well, any last comments from any of the racers?
It's
GG's,
GG's to
guys.
everybody.
Yep.
I'm sorry, it was a bit of a naff one for you, Asmo.
It happens though. it was still a fun time.
Yeah, thanks for racing. Thanks, commentators.
Yeah,
And thanks, guys, for a good race.
Thank
Have
you,
a nice
Ryder.
Thanks, Sparkling, for joining me on commentary.
Haven't the pair of you commentated both of my races?
We'll see if we
It's
do that
nice
repeat
to
round
next
three.
time.
Well, okay. I think since we are for sure over the time.
Yeah, we've overstayed our welcome here.
Yeah, that's gonna do it for us. Thank you again, everyone who came and watched. Go ahead and follow the links for the runners, Amoeba, Kurddt, and Asmo. The commentary links are also there as well. Like we said, there is another race ongoing on SpeedGaming 3 between Kid Rocker, Leaf, and Kadir. And we will be returning with another race tomorrow, 8 a.m. EDT, between Thunder, Snorms, and Q-Pals. We hope to see you there. We thank you, everyone, for watching. And Iron, want to say anything?
No, I'm good. Thanks, Mockwing, and I think you said it all. And we'll see everybody over on race Speed Gaming 3 for the other race going on right now.
All right. We'll turn it over to the Speed Gaming crew. Thank you once again.
Bye, everybody.